Welcome back. We have our, I believe, final series of the night, and we have a great one for you. It is Team Spirit versus Vici Gaming. So this should be very exciting. The young up-and-comers up against, we've got old 11, like right off the
True.
bat. Someone who is, an old veteran. Very, very skilled, though. Very famous.
He's a beast, dude.
He is.
He farms so fast. He really impressed me. There was an ESL, I think it was ESL Mumbai. He just like consistently was like carrying from the offline position. He just had so much net worth compared to even his allies. So it was impressive.
I think one thing that when I was doing my homework, was that old 11, no one can stop him, is what they say. No one can stop him. He's an unstoppable force. When old 11 says, we are diving this tower, by God, he is going and nothing can stop him. And it's apparently really been paying off for Vici Gaming because some of the other players are a little bit more conservative. Poyoyo and Ori, they're a little bit on the safer side, and old 11 is that guy who's just like, no, we're going, get in there, it'll be fine. But the one saying that a lot of the Chinese teams apparently have said is that if you can stop old 11, you can stop Vici Gaming. There was actually an entire, what was it? I think it was PSG LGD was playing against them, and they banned 7 of old 11's heroes. Like, they're very targeted against him.
Take him out of his first 7 comfort zones. Beat him on his 8th comfort zone. I get it.
But, I mean, that's how important it seems that he is to this team.
I mean, if he was that important to the team, they just would have picked his hero first or second,
He's flexible, though, I guess. They did force him into taking a Lycan at one point, and they ended up losing because he wasn't really prepared. But now Lycan's kind of in the meta for the offlane. So, I mean, are you really that worried, that concerned?
I kind of see it as, like, that's not necessarily the type of offlaner he wants to play. He doesn't want to play this, like, slow-born. He wants to, like, fight people, get kills, make moves.
He's aggressive, like we said. If he wants to dive that man, by God, he is diving.
All right, ET is the opening for Vici in response to the Tiny. Not necessarily a direct counter, but can be effective at just limiting his escape or locking him down a bit. And yeah, just Earth Boys, dude.
Yeah.
Any Earth Boys left in the
I thought you were gonna say any Earth Boys in chat.
There's Earth Boys in this game.
There
Earth
are.
Spirit is the last one, maybe.
Yeah, I believe that is the.
Sand King. Sand King's an
Do you
Earth
count
boy.
that as an Earth Boy?
Sand is Earth. Little bits of tiny bits of rock.
All right, or but that by that it means like Tiny is also an Earth Boy.
That's true. A lot of Earth Boys in this game. There's another Earth girl.
What is happening?
She makes mud pies in the oven.
She does not make mud pies. She makes cookies. She makes like sugar cookies.
What's the difference?
Like sugar cookies. What's wrong with the cookies
I'm
you've
an
been
alien
eating?
who's never eaten a cookie.
Oh my
That's
word!
all.
I know you like
They
cookies.
body
You told
swap
me how excited you were at one point when we were playing
Yep.
D&D. You're like, I got this box of like deluxe cookies. They're
Yep.
so good, guys. I've had like 4 of them.
For like 85 cents a cookie. That's a lot. And that's at a grocery store. That's not like I mean, you can easily go to like a gas station or something and spend $3 on a
Don't
cookie.
get gas station cookies.
All right, gas station, bad example. You could go to a Subway or I don't know, like a food place, some kind of food place, and they're like, "Oh, we have this specialty cookie on the menu.
You mean
It's
like
$6."
a restaurant?
Maybe a restaurant
A
isn't
bakery?
appropriate. A bakery is probably a
Okay.
better. Just overly expensive cookies. You go to a
Okay.
grocery store, buy these deluxe. They were good.
How much would you pay for a Snapfire cookie? If you were in the game of Dota, how much would you pay for that cookie?
It depends if I'm exactly where I want to be standing at that exact moment.
What if
or
you
not.
could save it for later? What if you had control over the cookie?
That's pretty powerful,
How
right?
much gold would that be worth to you?
Well, I mean, it's like, what if I'm about to be hit by a car? Just shove that thing in my mouth and bite down. You launch forward,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So how much are you going to spend on that cookie in Dota Gold? What would that be worth to you?
Dota Gold.
In Dota Gold,
You're
in comparison
You're making
to
this really difficult to answer because there's a lot of factors to. You're gonna have to simplify this question for me to answer it.
why do I have to simplify the question?
In
It's a
Dota Gold, I
consumable.
don't have
It's
gold.
a consumable item, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a little miniature force staff that also happens to have a stun. So
Yeah.
how much money in comparison to like say a healing salve or a clarity or a mango?
Oh,
would
in
you
Dota,
assign?
would I spend?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about real life this whole
Why
time.
would I ask you how much
Because I've been
in real
talking about
life gold?
me eating cookies in real life this whole time.
We're
Gotta-
descending into madness over here,
gotta-
guys. It's the last series of the night. I'm so sorry.
Gotta specify this
I'm still
context.
curious, though. I want to know your answer.
In Dota, a one-time use, it'd surely be worth at least like 200 or 300 gold, without a doubt. Maybe that's a lot, but like
But it also provides a stun one upon impact.
yeah,
Don't
that
forget.
part's
So
like
that's the
crazy
invaluable
good.
bit.
Like think how many heroes could be like think about Earthshaker or something. If you could just spend a little money to have like a one-time blink dagger basically
Mm.
that also stuns or like Tidehunter. It's very similar to the Tumblr's toy,
Mm.
but it's better obviously. It does the stun. That'd be worth money. 100 gold, 200 gold, probably like somewhere in there.
Okay. Interesting. I'll be interested to see what people in chat will say for that particular
Like you
answer.
could buy a late game as well to like guarantee like just a couple specific ones. Like the stuns are just so powerful in the right circumstance. You can
Right.
guarantee a chain stun somebody to kill them. That could be game momentum, that kind of thing. Could force them to have to buy a BKB. It's never
But you
I,
don't want to make the item too cheap because then you're just going to be buying stuns whenever you
if
want.
it's like a one use, it would have to be cheap, but then it'd be too powerful generally. It would just
So how do you balance
it
it?
would break the game. You just never put it in the freaking game. It's really easy actually.
Okay.
You
all
can't
right.
if it's like an item, then it has to cost more money, obviously, because you'd be using it multiple times, and
Mm.
then it's whatever. You can put stuns as items. We know this is Meteor Hammer. Obviously, it's very restrictive, but
Mm.
one that's also a 4 step and does an AoE stun, yeah, it'd be way too good. It'd have to be like at least a couple hundred gold.
So Snapfire cookies are just invaluable, basically.
I guess they are, yeah, but I think that's because they're fresh when she throws them at you. Good luck getting a fresh cookie at the secret shop. That shit's not happening.
Yeah, I've seen videos of that guy.
He's a hoarder, dude.
jerk.
Dude's a hoarder. How old do you think his cookies are?
Oh man, there's gonna be lint on those cookies for
For sure.
And looks like, we're going through a couple of the bans. They're banning out some of these big hitters over on the side of Team Spirit. They don't want to see the Medusa, and they definitely don't want to see the Terror Blade. So it looks like the Spectre's next. Really hard carries here, stuff for Poyoyo, of course. And it seems like they're very scared about Toronto, Tokyo. Over on Vici, they've been banning out the Storm Spirit, and they've banned out the Invoker.
Yeah, those are the tempo heroes that are going to allow them to do stuff. I wonder if those bans like the Dusa, the Terrorblade, the Spectre, all very tanky carries basically that are difficult to burst. Is the way that I see it, and that makes me. I mean, obviously, Tiny, regardless of him being a carry or support, very good burst hero. So if you're fighting against heroes that are hard to burst, it's a little different, but a little hard for him to be effective. But that's kind of my viewpoint of why Spirit banned those heroes. And they go for the Hoodwink.
Ooh, I think I've seen this once so far. I think Quincy Crew has picked it up.
I saw it being played in a different game, but
Okay.
it's been a couple picks.
Not as popular though now. Like she definitely
Yeah.
got nerfed during that laning stage, which was where she was really shining.
Yeah, her movement speed was high, her base damage was high, her armor was pretty good. The what's it called? Bushwhack was very strong. It does damage over time now, basically during the stun duration, so you can end it early. But most importantly, it's just harder to like. You get less last hits. That's a big thing actually, because if creeps are taking damage over time, there's a better chance that like some random stray asshole creep steals your kill, steals your last hits. You get less gold and you get less burst damage. It adds up. So she still can be very effective though. And against heroes that are not the best disablers, she can definitely play around them and abuse them because she's got good movement speed. So like if Disruptor's trying to run away, she's hunting him down, eating those chicken legs. She definitely eats meat. She's a hunter. Come on, come on.
She is definitely a hunter. No, I'll agree with that. Like you're not going into the wilderness carrying that crossbow bolt to hunt vegetables. That's for sure.
Yeah.
She's an omnivore. She enjoys the occasional mango and.
I think she just eats
she's-
living
no,
things.
No, she doesn't just eat living
Just
things.
carnivore.
No. But highly doubt. Highly doubt. Why is she carrying an acorn in her pocket then?
It's an effective projectile weapon.
And it's also a great snack.
If you live in the forest and you don't have an industrialized
Why
society.
can't it be both? Why can't you have a snack and a projectile weapon?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a magic acorn too. It's like glowing and stuff.
Yeah.
That's some weird shit going on with Hoodwink. Magnus is the response here. Get some separation, some team fight, some empower for Tiny. So one of the other games we saw Tiny picked, we did see Magnus bans. Probably similar principle. You're just making his cleave better, and most importantly, actually, is that one thing that BSJ told me is that when you play Tiny carry, you play side lanes because you don't jungle that fast because you run out of tree slaps. If he's got empower, he can actually still jungle decently.
true.
So that might be another thing that really makes Magnus feel strong with Tiny because he can just get a lot more net worth and be more unpredictable on the map and where he is. That said, Morphling, definitely killable, but a little bit difficult to kill if he's playing effectively and safely. So having a Morphling be able to blast people, kill supports, looks good, especially once it gets BKB like the Disruptor and Snapfire. He just targets those guys every time and has an easy time killing them.
They're not necessarily like too squishy though over on the side of Team Spirit. The Disruptor perhaps, but everything else
Yeah,
seems to have a decent amount of hit points that isn't going to just immediately evaporate
they
when
will.
hit with the
Yep.
shotgun. So,
If he buys it, E-Blade's not the most common. Morphling builds really do seem extremely variable
mhm.
every game. You might have, I saw Uji do Ags once because they had an Earthshaker on their team. Other times you do like some Manta Scotty build. Sometimes you get BKB. Sometimes you see E-Blade. It's a little bit all over the place.
Oh man, I just realized I was looking at Ori's name right now when I was trying to remember. I was like, I think I
How to
read something
translate, yeah.
about it. Yeah, so it's actually his Chinese name. His Chinese name is his
Like
internet
his
game handle.
his real
Yeah, I'm probably gonna butcher this.
his
I'm gonna
passport
try,
name.
guys. It's Sang Zhao Yang. Sang Zhao Yang.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm getting the intonations wrong,
I
but I thought that
believe
was
you.
pretty cool. Like he's one of those players, I guess, that's making the transition to just using his first name. Well, full name rather.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Radiant's turn to pick.
All
Last
right.
span, Faceless Void here. So yeah, they've been an offlaner and a carry. They recognize that their opponents have very variable picks here, but Chronosphere would be annoying to deal with. The Thunderdome could happen, you know what I mean?
I know it's so exciting.
And they have so many good team fight spells already, right? Like God, Snapfire ulti,
10
Disruptor ulti,
seconds
Magnus ulti. If they had
Mhm.
Chrono on top of that, it's like they'd use like 3 out of the 4 of their team fight ultis. They still have one for the next couple minutes. That'd make fights really hard. But
Trying to think what they could use like for containment wise, but I think it's too easy for them to still be able to like get out of the like a Mars arena, right?
Dyer's turn to
If they
pick.
want to go with the offlane. Okay, so you're gonna go for the Ember Spirit. So that's most likely going to be oh, what am I talking about? Oh my gosh. We're being dummies. They have collapse. That Magnus is collapse 3000%.
I know. I wasn't.
10
I mean, they banned one
seconds.
offlane hero, but they also banned a carry. They weren't necessarily sure what they were going to see. That's all I'm saying.
5 seconds
I mean, it could be like their lanes are still unpredictable, right? You could Tiny support, you could Snapfire core.
No, it's gonna be Toronto
So-
Tokyo. That's gonna be Magnus on the or sorry, collapse on the Magnus. Mira most
Yep.
likely playing the Snapfire. Moposhka loves Disruptor, and then of course you've got Yatoro on the Tiny.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yep.
But it could be different.
It could be different, but I'm pretty sure that this is how it's gonna go down. The only real variable, I'm still pretty sure, Moposhka loves Disruptor. I can't
It's-
imagine that he's not.
I think the only one that might swap maybe Snapfire and Magnus. Like they could go
today.
Snapfire mid or Snapfire offlane if they really wanted to. But yeah, Collapse Magnus sounds more like his hero for sure. Shadow Fiend's a hero I thought we might see at the tournament a decent amount because it was streaking in pubs a little. I saw a little bit of everybody playing it. Saw Chris Luck playing it. Saw Sumail playing it. Saw others. So this game, very good against Ember Spirit. I think they're looking to dumpster that lane. He's gonna have a bad time, that's for sure. And just general strong team fight should offset a lot of what Team Spirit's doing. There it is, the Collapse Magnus.
Oh, so they end up going with Yatoro on the Ember Spirit. So I
So-
think they want to avoid the Shadow Fiend potentially.
Yeah, because if he plays Ember mid, like it's just gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Because normally you walk in and flame guard to kill creep waves, or like trade with your opponent, and he's just gonna shadow. He's gonna raise like once, maybe twice, and your armor's gone. So then you're just not getting last hits. You're getting out regen. Yeah, they basically have to lane swap it instead. And
That makes
as a
sense.
result, maybe that's why they're putting Ember in the safe lane, which will be against Earthshaker. Haven't seen much Ember safe lane. Almost always mid, but hey, it can work.
Definitely can. I also enjoy the fact that Collapse's Magnus has this giant cudgel or warhammer that is the size of Disruptor. Thing is massive.
I would not want to get hit by that drill. That looks
That looks
really
so painful.
Like if he can swing that as a strong elephant centaur man, like ouch. Like even if he just swipes you with it, like
Yeah, that's
stitches
tetanus.
is an understatement.
Like
like
tetanus right there. I
it's like,
guarantee you.
oh sorry, I have this giant gash in my arm right now. It's never healed fully. Magnus got me.
All right, so it's gonna be Poyoyo on the Morphling, Ori on the Shadow Fiend.
I think one good thing going for him is that disable-wise, Team Spirit has some lackings. They've generally got good stuff. RP's obviously amazing. Cookie can be good, but like their initiation might be a little bit rough outside of like RP grabs or tiny Avatos combos. So once they get BKB is what I'm trying to say. They will have some nice team fight advantage, and the game is paused.
И я безумно хочу пиццу.
Microphone, I was like, bathroom, definitely, but no. They had time.
They had time. We had time to cram food in our face during the break. It was
Did we?
not pretty,
We had some, yeah.
but
Got
we.
a piece of bread right next to me that's calling my name. And then I remembered I had another piece of bread in my backpack that's been calling my name since lunch and I never ate. You know what I'm doing. As soon as it's over, 2 pieces of bread in my mouth. Same
Just
time.
just dual fisting bread into
Yeah.
your mouth. That's gonna be so dry, dude.
Will it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's bread.
Just get a bottle nearby. It's fine.
There you go.
Dump some water in there.
There you go. Just wet your bread first before you eat.
Love wetting my bread.
But yeah, we do have a little bit of a pause. But who do you think is, favored, really, with this draft setup, with, what you know about the team so far, thanks to the DPC?
I feel like the Shadow Fiend kind of, well, ignoring drafts, DPC wise, Vici Gaming without a doubt is the higher ranked team. I think I do like Team Spirit though. It was fun watching them in both seasons of the DPC. I think I haven't heard that one before. I think they're a really solid squad. They have very good players. I'm really happy they're here. But Vici Gaming's really solid. They're excellent team. If you're a team that went to both majors, like you're already like on a great trajectory. Do you find it difficult to talk while people spam chat lines?
Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but I'm pretty good at being able to just tune out a lot of things too. So the trick is just be louder. Be louder than the voice lines.
I can do that.
How do you feel about what some of the Chinese fans say, that if you shut down Old 11, you win the game?
I think that sounds reasonable. Old 11's an excellent player, so he's a lot of the experienced talent on their team. But with that said, shutting down Earthshaker, I don't know. It's like you can delay his Blink Dagger, but he's still going to be a monster if he uses his abilities right. The one scary thing that he has to deal with this game is it's all about backline heroes. And that's what we see every single Earthshaker game. The mid or whoever else always aims for Earthshaker. Don't allow him to land his combo on your vulnerable cores at a bad time, is what you want to do. So Ember's going to solve that problem this game. That's basically Yatoro's job. Hit the backlines, limit Earthshaker from doing his combos if possible, and the rest of his team, you just have to be like, well, do your best, team. But with that said, because he's technically their carry, maybe that's going to hurt their farm distribution, because Ember's ability to like hit backlines is excellent, but he's not necessarily single target damage focused. So even if he does catch Earthshaker on the backline, if you look back at his team, he's like, guys, I got him. How's it going? It's like you have a Tiny who's a 4, or sorry, Tiny 2, who's gonna have a rough laning stage probably against Shadow Fiend. If he does, his net worth is weaker, his ability to solo kill is weaker, and then it's like it's a Magnus and a Disruptor and a Snapfire, which might have troubles. Unless you do like a great RP, Avatos, Kisses, team fight, that would be amazing. But
It's
it
very
could
rare
be
that
iffy.
those things all line up exactly the way that you want it to, right?
Yeah, like he's gonna RP 2 heroes. We're gonna see that regularly probably, but
Masterful mark.
it's not often you catch like the whole team and the kisses land perfectly, etc., etc. So if they have damage issues, single target, then maybe interrupting the Earthshaker is a bit goofy. But I'm probably theory crafting too deep here.
Well, we have a pause, so this is the time to theory craft, my friend.
Well, with that said, they have other angles they can do too. Catch Shadow Fiend before he BKBs, etc. Avatos that guy. Maybe Toronto Tokyo does well on the laning stage. Tiny can kill Shadow Fiend, especially if we get some rotations. That part's kind of cool. If he gets ahead, we're going to see Hoodwink maybe die a decent amount. Or they'll use that advantage to pressure Earthshaker or whoever else. Shadow Fiend classically just has low HP. I don't know what build he's going to go. Usually people they start with some magic, and then they go more right click like Shadow Blade type stuff right now, since Silver Edge is good. So that's kind of what I expect, as long as Shadow Fiend has a good early game. Maybe he's not going to bother with Yules. He'll just go like Dragonlance, Shadow Blade. That's what I feel like I see. And when that's the case, it's a lot easier to avoid getting like solo killed by Tiny and other heroes.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to being able to
Это ты тот
really
самый
just
умный, что
make
ли?
sure that you secure your lane.
Yes.
Because if you're forced back into the jungle, you're just so squishy too. You're very vulnerable to a lot of the things that are on the side of Team Spirit. So
Do they have a smoke? Yeah, they do. They do have a smoke on Maposhka. It seems like it's just a necessity to smoke and run out at the start of the game right now. Just get
get
your
there
wards
first,
down.
yeah.
Exactly. Because otherwise you miss information, or not to be confused with misinformation, as in like people sow lies. It's about you're gonna miss the knowledge that like somebody just put a ward down in the area. So, and that's gonna lose you an easy D ward, or they're gonna put their ward down and therefore see you place their ward. It's just very important. So get on the map. Maybe block the small camp for Shadow Fiend. Don't let him farm that. depending on how much Hoodwink goes back to stack dual camps, could be a really big deal. Are they going to be able to pressure Morphling? Not really with Magnus +1, so one of the downsides of Magnus. It's not always the biggest lane winner, but
I mean, Collapse plays like a beast. This guy, he's really made
yeah.
his mark as a Magnus player in many of the games that we've seen recently. So I'm sure that Vici Gaming is aware of this. I'm sure they're going to either feel confident that they can shut him down, or they're going to play very conservatively.
yeah, I do. There's a lot of standout players for Team Spirit that I've come to know decently well right now, but interesting that his smoke broke. Yeah, that was kind of interesting how he did that, actually. He went low ground. He didn't have vision, but other than the ward itself. But because his smoke broke, he knew a hero was closer than the tower. And if somebody was there, it's very possible they already put their ward in that area, and that's where he pinged like right away. So my guess is that they're going to try to use a sentry to de-ward on that side if somebody was still standing there, but very cheeky. But yeah, out of all the players that stood out on Team Spirit, I think Collapse was the one that was most obvious to me. But frankly, all 5 of them have really gone above and beyond lately.
They have excellent synergy, that's for sure. But
Honestly,
I also
I'm really
think
impressed.
Toronto Tokyo. Oh, it's you!
Honestly, I'm really impressed. After I complimented him, it's perfect. Hell yeah. I haven't seen anybody else use that one yet, so very excited. Thank you for the $2.50 Collapse. You're not going to need it, that's for sure, playing at TI.
It's nice when they support their
It is.
casters.
But I do hope they go far. I would love to see them do well.
Yeah.
Get that bank.
One of the youngest teams here at TI. Nice block going up here in the top lane. Be interested if they're going to try to block any of these other camps. They do have the sentry over on Mira. So they could. Oh dear, we having another issue.
Я безумно хочу пиццу.
All right. Now that there's been 2 whole last hits in the game, let's talk about who's ahead. It's even, actually, turns out.
Thank you for processing that data for us,
But
Purge,
Ori
and
took
putting it into a way.
slightly more damage so far due to the tree grab fighting. Oh, big deny from Shadow Fiend. Toronto Tokyo cleans up another one.
Indeed he does. Now we haven't seen a lot of the safe lane Ember. Taking a look at what they have here, he does have to be a bit careful because he gets bushwhacked or whatnot. They have a lot of ways to kind of lock him down, and Maposhka doesn't really offer any sort of save other than perhaps making one of them move back a bit.
Yeah. I mean, the safety that Disruptor provides is really just about damaging your opponent.
Right.
That's like all you can do. Like, well, gotta blast him with Thunderstrike, but you gotta be a bit careful against these melee heroes if you can't really threaten him, because what's gonna happen is he's just gonna draw the Thunderstrike near the range creep and get a deny there if you're not quite ready, so you gotta be a bit careful. That's probably why he's waiting here to do it once the creep wave is pushing a bit.
Well, they are removing quite a bit of Old Eleven's HP here. Still has that one tango. He's getting a lot of these really nice double fissures.
Yeah,
making the value out of it for
really
sure.
helpful. And PYW gives him a salve because he came to lane with just a Ring of Basilius, which is a little bit goofy here. But it's going to help them just cast more spells. He knows that enchant fighting at level 1 isn't going to feel that great. They're not that strong at fighting anyways with Ember Spirit carries, so he can get away with this with the extra regen from PYW. A lot of pauses, but we're resuming. Mid lane still pretty darn even here. And then back on the other side of the map, everything looks even there too.
I don't expect to see any kills really in this mid lane unless we have a rotation or, and let's be really honest, Toronto Tokyo, sometimes he gets a little too confident, a little too aggressive.
Yeah, he can be a bit YOLO.
But he is very young, again. That is typically something you see of some of the younger players.
Bottle up for Shadow Fiend now. Bottle up for Tiny as well. Water runes are here. Let's see if he can get some pressure in. Let's trade runes, nothing weird. Back on the safe lane. Toro taking damage.
Taking a bit. Oh, the fissure from Old 11. Acorn, he's forced to go and pop the stick. But
Yeah, that
sitting
doesn't
a
feel
little
good.
lower than I think he'd like. They do have a salve over on Maposhka though, so I'll just pop it over on Yatoro.
Kind of an interesting skill build for Old 11 too. He actually went Aftershock level 2, so just delaying the enchant totem, but he gets an extra 75 damage if he fissures in close range, so for the low cost of 110 mana, U2 can deal 185 magic damage. That's pretty good for a
Wow.
level 2 hero when you got the base seed. But again, this is all facilitated. Like, he's able to get away with this like weirder item build here because it's an Ember Spirit safe lane. Ember just doesn't have the same output as a lot of other carries typically do. Sentry committed to block the large camp, preventing PYW from pulling there. But unfortunately, he's not able to get his own camp de-warded.
Poshka getting held over into the tree with the bushwhack.
It's dangerous.
I don't think he has quite enough damage, though. And now it's a little scary for Yatoro. Couple clicks, the acorn bounce. They need a little bit more, the bushwhack, and it's going to be old 11 who gets the first blood.
So they've lane swapped because they're like, uh-oh, we're counterpicked by the Shadow Fiend, but then they kind of just put themselves in another weird lane too. Which,
Yeah.
And again, Ember safe lane has been classically done. There was a period of time where it was just more common than the other lanes, but that time is past a bit, it feels like, and for whatever reason, Ember Spirit's just not quite strong right now. And Earthshaker has been surprisingly good as a 3, in my opinion. But Earthshaker did fall off for a while. His base level skills maybe buffed a little bit, so he just feels good for trading. Top lane, a skewer under tower here for collapse.
Very nice. It's not going to pay off for him.
It almost did. He was looking very dead, but gets the skewer
Toronto
back.
Tokyo making his own rotation. He's going to snap up the bounty rune. Get a cookie hop forward over onto DY. Doesn't even have to go for any other skills. He does have to. He needs a little bit more damage. He needs to close the gap, actually. And he's just not quite fast enough. He's got the boots over on Elder Titan. DY, oh, there's no way he survives this, right? No way? Maybe way? Slight way? Gets the stomp off on Toronto Tokyo and just goes and tries to teleport out, but no.
That was close. He almost messed it up there. Or at least it took a while. Very smart to juke back through, though. Oh, it could have gotten him out.
That is a lot of creeps that he may have missed here. Yatoro, though, just trying to duke it out here with old 11. Needs to be so careful. These acorns are causing a lot of problems. Not quite enough damage, though. It's old 11 himself backing off, already
got him, I
popping
think.
those wand. Yeah, I think he is this next tick. Down he goes.
Use my magic stick. That's all he could have done there. So end up getting a kill because it did look very much like Yatoro was going to die. No HP
top
reach on
lane?
Ember, but
Puyoyo sitting very, very low, getting chased by Collapse and Mira. Maposhka, though, falling to PYW. Oh, man, every single thing is happening here as we do have
Wow.
a rotation from Ori.
Collapse
and then
kills
they
the
get the kill.
morph.
Yep, that's
Yo,
Collapse.
what a play, dude. That's a huge kill. You got to get these early kills on him. Back on the bot lane, after they got the Earthshaker kill, they basically just ran at Hoodwink, and they committed. Maposhka was quite low, but they knew, like, we got to use all our stuff. They were both low, but they're able to kill him first. Then he got the Maposhka kill, which is basically exactly what Spirit wants. Maposhka comes back to lane with full regen and items, and Yatoro's going to get a salve as a result of that one. So they're happy with that great kill bottle. So good moment for Team Spirit, that 3-second window. 2 big kills.
They saw the opportunity.
And then in the mid lane, Tiny's sitting at 40 last hits versus Shadow Fiend's 35. Has a slight net worth advantage. So Tiny doing a great job. Toronto Tokyo making it work.
Another Fisher over onto Yatoro in the bottom lane. It feels like there's so much aggression. Like, some of our games, they're kind of slow, they're quiet. We don't see a first blood until like about 5 minutes in. But this game, you can tell, like, they're ready to make all these plays. They want to kill. This ward game, too, has been absolutely silly back and forth. Nice light over with the chains, backing off.
That was really close. He gets a sentry down, almost denies the ward. It does get, or kills the ward. It gets denied. But either way, the ward is dead. That's good for Team Spirit here on the safe lane.
Nice bushwhack here. Old 11 Shantone throws out the fissure. Not quite enough damage, though. He's going to be trapped in the cage. Managed to go. They throw out that Thunder Strike. Old 11, very, very low, but still alive.
They're getting good value out of Ember now because his survivability is relatively high, especially with the 2 points Flame Guard. So even if they go on him here, it's like, all right, now we get to play against you.
Bushwhack again. Old 11 looking for that fissure. Doesn't quite connect. Go. Throw out the cookie hop over onto PYW. Be able to get some squirrel on those kebabs.
The lesson
Keep
was
spamming.
run.
It's a lot of squirrel, dude. Those are some thick kebabs when he does that one. Gotta say. Pig pole for the Shadow Fiend.
Dire should
Good item for him. Mana pool, all that good stuff. Possess Mask for the Morph. He'll be very happy about that, but he already does have a Morbid Mask. But either way, he'll be able to jungle super fast with that. they're even doing that. Nope, they didn't do the handoff. Everyone's so greedy. They're like, I can't be bothered to hand this off.
Have you ever had a game where the like some of the cores just will not put any of the items, any of the neutral items, back to the base? They just
You mean
hoard them all.
griefers?
Yeah.
That's straight
Yeah,
grief.
pretty much.
Maybe once or twice, but yeah, not often. Was it? Who was it? Random.
Random. Random and now in my avoid list.
Those damn randoms, dude. It's messed up. Clap's still doing great on the top lane, getting full last hits while the Morphling goes to jungle. Morphling's not bothered at all by this great jungler with power treads, morbid mask, possessed mask. Like, he's just full agi. And it's a little bit unlikely that they go look for a kill there. It's not exactly Snapfire's motive, but... Oh, bad angle.
Oh, they wanted it. They'll still be able to land the slide chains. Poshka keeping tabs here. Has to be careful, it's not getting too greedy, but there it is. There's the glimpse. This is going to allow the Shadow Fiend to teleport down, though, so they have to be very careful. Both of the supports. The Echo Slam gets used over onto Mira. Should be a easy, clean kill. Smoposhka is forced to drop the kinetic field. Still ends up getting bushwhacked. Ori looking for this opening, wants to get as many raises up as possible. Still manages to get the kill on Poshka. And Yatoro, not much mana left at all. He's just going to walk away.
It was a good attempt, just really unfortunate there because mid-pressure coming, Earthshaker comes in, no echo though, so I think Toronto Tokyo's going to be able to do a good job here.
Has to be careful because DY also rotating in. They don't quite land that echo stomp. Mira joining on. Has a cookie. Gonna hop forward right onto old 11. DY give him the smacks, and old 11 and DY will collect on Mira.
Yeah, all that extra tower damage, and you standing right next to DY.
He just walks the tiny little edge there, man.
He's playing with the man.
He is.
But things are going okay for Spirit. Getting that tower this early is excellent. His tower is literally untouched on the Spirit side. 1,800 full HP. So Tiny getting great net worth from the mid lane. He's been doing completely fine against Shadow Fiend. Just spent a lot of time jungling. Maxed out his tree grab pretty early to lower the cooldown. Here's some double stacking. That's one whole fantasy point if you ran Miposhka, by the way. Miposhka, excellent fantasy player, historically. Even on the teams when he was on like weaker teams. Like, I don't know, so maybe like a year that Empire was weak at TI like 5 years ago. Dude always carried hard on Observer Wards. Just want you guys all know. He also
That's a good strategy right there.
He also has really high MMR for a 5-position player. Like, he's very high. Very, very talented guy. Got a wacky Ember Spirit build too. Phase Boots plus Falcon Blade, but he's side lane, so it makes sense.
Yeah, doing something a little bit different, but you can see in this top lane, hoping to perhaps make something happen on Poyoyo. Really pushing this pressure onto the Morphling every time he shows up in lane. Mira's also here, still sitting at level 5. Haven't quite gotten those Snapfire kisses, but the rest of Spirit, other than the Ember, are coming up. Collapse. Gonna skewer right back into everyone. Waveforms away, but they do. Oh.
He's really high MMR.
He's a very high MMR. Yep.
It was a good try. Poyo was super ready for that. Instantly waveforms. Unfortunately, the Avalanche didn't hit him. Maybe one of those cases where Toronto should be spamming Avalanche or Toss instead, but it's fine. It was a good try.
DY standing nearby just in case. Nice waveform forward. Managed to land the stomp. Follow up with that splitter. Should be able to hit over onto 2. Mira sitting very low, getting the scatter blast off, but not enough damage. So it's a big rotation over for Spirit, and they don't manage to get anything out. Smoke play coming out. They just finished up the Blink Dagger on Old 11. This is going to be the reveal. Trying to find anything that they can, any information. They'll probably show PYW first. They realize they're nearby. Bushwhack over onto 2. Blink forward, the Echo Slam, the Fisher, the waveform. Beautifully done by Vici Gaming.
Ooh, just walked into that one. Claps is like, I'm helping. Just made it even more beautiful. What a blink reveal. We haven't seen one of those in a while, but what a great way to do it. Now stealing it. Here comes again. The 2-man stun. Claps is going to go help, and then, oh my god.
Where were my cheers? I didn't get any cheers in the game for that. That was
That's a good
hype.
question. That was really cool. Great execution. And now the off-lane tier 1 is the first to die. Bad sign. It usually only happens if the carry has like an insanely abundantly good lane, or if you land a crazy team fight like that. It's a 2k gold advantage though. It's not over, just at all. But wow, what a great fight.
Very nicely done for sure. On the plus side though, they do still have their mid tower over on Spirit, so even though they lose this top tower, they protect the other. Very important. One way I'd even say the most important.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's a good point. So even though they're offset there, everything's still relatively fine. Empower doing some work now on Tiny, still increasing his net worth, but now that Morphling's on the top, that makes things a little bit more worrisome for Spirit. They're going to go for a smoke play though. Disruptor's level 6 here, so getting a combo kill is a lot more likely. If they catch SF, if they catch Morphling, that's the person they want.
Well, they're not going to find either one of them going this way into the jungle because they all happen to be in the triangle at the moment.
The
Dire scanning too. Look at that.
on the hunt for radiant
Collapse finishing up the Blink Dagger. So we do have 2 Blink Daggers completed now for the side of Spirit. We've got one over on Collapse on the Magnus, and now we have one over on Toronto Token. They do manage to find Old 11. He will reveal himself. Throw down the Static Storm. He's not going to be able to do anything else, so it's a nice tidy kill.
Yeah, that was actually pretty close to not happening. Miposhka skirted the line in that scan. If he shows, Old 11 backs, but luckily for him, doesn't get spotted, gets the ward down. Go for the kill. Wouldn't be surprised to see that ward get dewarded later because it was an instant blink initiation, but either way, good moment for Team Spirit. Collapse picks up his blink as well, so they're sitting pretty decent map control. And Vici Gaming just working on the Spirit safe lane tower now, but boy, can they kill it quick with SF and Morphling here.
Yeah, I don't even think they're going to bother defending it on the side of Spirit. Do manage to pick up the double damage rune over on Tiny, though, so could potentially see some more movement, some more aggression.
For now, I think he just wants to hit creeps, finish up his Echo Saber, that kind of thing. He's almost there. But Collapse hanging out. They basically own the enemy jungle. It's scary for Vici Gaming to play here, but they've got heroes in position to defend if they need.
For Dire's middle tower.
Okay, what do we have here over on Poyoyo? It's getting closer and closer now to that ultimate orb and eventually the Manta. And Ori's going to have that BKB very soon. In fact, they go for a smoke play over on the side of Vici.
Radiant scan, eager to know Dire's whereabouts.
Curious, I guess they just have Fissure and Bushwhack follow up. It should be fine.
I think they're looking for a pick-off, not necessarily a whole big fight by any
exactly.
means. But the way that Spirit's playing currently, they're very grouped together, so you're not going to find anyone just kind of by himself, other than perhaps the Ember Spirit. In fact, the smoke does pop.
I think he did spot that with his ward, despite it being nighttime, so not sure if you recognize the smoke.
Immediately now, Miposhka does have to be a little careful. They're looking for the opening. There's the Fissure with the Bushwhack. Cookie Hop, though, over the Fissure. Nicely done. And they even go for that Sharpshooter, which doesn't end up landing on anyone.
And those cookies are just so good for those ones. Oh,
They
steer
really
back.
are. And again, we see Collapse God over here, immediately grabbing DY. They're putting out as much damage. They already use the Earth Splitter. Yatoro will collect.
Like it's just it's a force staff you have at the very start of the game. It's actually so powerful if you think about it.
He's
It's
so
just
good with the
ready to
horn
go.
toss, too.
Yeah, he's.
He really makes good work of it. Oh, Old 11 walking into the smoke. It goes in,
Again?
so he doesn't even care. He just goes in for the Echo Set. Throws out the Fissure. Get the Requiem of Souls off as well, but they've only managed to get one kill as Yatoro jumping back in. Oh, the RP coming out now from Collapse. What have they done? They take out Old 11. They take out Ori. Oh, my word.
Collapse got jealous that Old 11 was stealing the show. He's like, I got this, guys.
Get out of
I'm
my
gonna do
game,
something
old
cool
man.
here. Yeah. Miposhka buys back, loses how much? Oh, is he gonna get the word in time? He did. Oh, he didn't. It dispel. He didn't get it. Give him the type GG. It's over. That's the worst feeling in Dota. The attack
You
was.
were more excited about
The attack was in
than
the damn
Echo
air.
Slam and the RP.
The attack was in the damn air. Watch. All right, that's
not
not.
getting a
That was not
replay
the
of
clip
it,
that
though.
I was expecting or wanted, but it was a good RP. All right, the fear goes away. Great. It was basically a Toro setting that up, anyways. But you know, great kisses. They win the fight.
Old 11 in the bottom lane is going to take the full Static Storm. Yatoro being cheeky too with that high five. Definitely feeling confident.
Slight steering chains, very powerful for setting up these team fights and forcing reactions. Like the Shadow Fiend had an illusion rune there. That's like, otherwise it would have looked a little bit worse. Like he almost got out of it. And maybe that's why they went to take the fight. It's like, I've got an illusion rune. We're pretty strong right now. Old 11 still hitting some monster echoes. Kind of a weird skill build actually. Went 3-3-3. Huh. Worked out fine though. Got the chain stun, no problem. Did a lot of damage. But they just didn't quite have enough oomph just yet.
That was so interesting because, like, as a player, when I see that, again, I am not a pro by any means. I'm like, oh no, it's 3 heroes. But then you just saw Old 11's like, when Old 11 wants to dive,
Yeah.
Old 11 will dive. You cannot stop him. That is the quintessential Old 11 sort of moment right there.
Yeah.
He saw it. It was go time. By God, he went. Couldn't always work out.
It's just incredible to me. He's been able to hit so many like 3-man Echo full combos. That's like, usually it's like, oh, we need to use Echo at the right time, and it's gonna like catch like a core and guarantee his death when normally he'd maybe get away. But now it's like, I'm going for the damage charts, baby. Hey, the cheering
there
is
we
back.
go.
Oh, here we go. That's better. Cheering for Old 11.
He is a good player. Now we have the 2 offlaners here hanging on the bottom, but the rest of Spirit very nearby. Yatoro revealing himself. Teleports are coming down. 11 prepping. You have the vision on him, immediately pushing him forward. They want to just get rid of this guy. The fissure goes for the Echo Slam. It doesn't do much of anything, unfortunately. Glimpse back coming out. That's collapse now. He's looking that he is going to get waveform down. Yatoro hiding over in the corner, gets bushwhacked. They've got the sharpshooter, tries to go for the dodge. Toss up into the air over onto Ori. Yatoro's still alive. Is Ori going to die? He does indeed.
Yatoro's
As
alive?
the follow-up, Yatoro, yeah, he's still alive. And now Poyoyo, he's taking a lot of damage, but he's able to shift. He should be able to get this kill over onto Toronto Tokyo. Never mind, he's able to
Blinking
go throw
one.
and out. Goes blinking, hiding over into the tree line. They don't have anything to find him. Bushwhack over onto Mira.
They're still
And
fishing
look at
for
this, look at this. He's just playing and dancing around them.
Yeah, the Yatoro putting the Sleight of Fist, AoE over the trees a little bit, got them that setup there. They end up finding a random Earthshaker in the trees. Not uncommon for you to stand there, typically, but they got him. Then they go for the dive, they get that kill, and surprisingly, he's able to stay alive. Glimpse almost got the Shadow Fiend, but he popped BKB, gets a good ulti off, but ultimately, once that ran out, they're like, all right, time to dive. They run at him, get that follow-up kill. And Echo Slam did get used, but he didn't get the full combo, so that was pretty darn perfect for Team Spirit initiating.
I will say, though, they had a very interesting fight, but they weren't able to get any objectives off of it.
That's true, but they didn't convincingly win it. They just
True.
won it a little bit, is how I would describe it.
Okay.
So they did well, but they didn't clean up fully. It's fine though. Shard queued up for Magnus. Bit of a different build. He went Spirit Vessel to finish, which is smart. You need it. You kind of want it against Morphling anyways. He's gonna have a Manta style, so guaranteeing that you keep it on him is not likely, but it's a great way to guarantee that kill. Even if you like RP him after he starts morphing, slap the Spirit Vessel on him, that way at least he's stunned and can't release it quite as fast. It's a pretty good solution already too. So more disable heavy, not as much utility heavy on Magnus, but it works this game.
I would say it definitely does.
Dire's top
He's going for the horn toss soon. He's got a decent amount of gold in the bank. Another 300 gold or so should be able to secure it.
Dire's
And
top
Spirit's really just, they're rolling together right now. They know that they're
Yep.
very strong. They have no reason not to just be totally up in this area, taking control, making sure that Roche belongs to them when they decide they want to go for it.
It's a good way to play. The only downside is they don't have a huge amount of single target damage. They are not a great Roche team. Dire Teams looks a lot better. Morphling has a ton of single target. Shadow Fiend has a lot and minus armor. So I can't help but think that like a medallion alone is all Vici Gaming needs to Roche, other than, Team Spirit being dead.
Yeah, that too.
But a little safer for them so far. Shadow Fiend almost Shadow Blade now, but they're going to go take a fight. But there's BKBs for both players. Collapse close to breaking a smoke here. Ult
Drop
11.
to Tokyo. They
There
drop
it is.
the veil.
Dire's top tower
They know that they're smoked and hidden over to the side. They want this Roche. Do have to be careful. Echo Slam is up. They go for their own smoke. They figure, all right, if they're going to camp around this area, they're going to try to fight us for Roche. We should get this advantage. We should get a nice fight going first. They've already dispersed.
Yeah, they really did, and this is going to hurt them because Maposhka might check this cliff ward with Kinetic Field, and they're going to get a D ward when this happens. But maybe they'll go for a kill first.
tower is under attack.
They're
No
fishing.
one's home.
They want Hoodwink. Not going to get him, though. And instead, yep, and there it is. There's the D ward. They're going to grab one of these. They won't catch the other one that's overlooking the Roche pit, but
Are scanning for enemies.
pressure the tower instead. It's easier for them, honestly. If I can't help but feel like Vici Gaming maybe lost on positioning there a bit, but maybe they're just worried about Spirit smoking into them right now.
That's possible.
It's kind of scary.
They
'Cause
definitely did smoke into the jungle.
yeah, just like the expectation that that you don't necessarily want to take that fight if you don't get to initiate yourself, because like if Earthshaker goes first and they have like Hoodwink follow up, everything's okay for them. But if it doesn't start like that, it could be scary. It's like Avatos goes on one guy, that guy's taking like 2,000 damage. So like, can you win the fight after one of your heroes gets Avatos without using BKB? It's gonna be scary, especially if it's like SF that gets hit first, you know. And instead they just do this. Solar Crest the Tiny, slap the tower, now they get the Shrine, and now taking Roche is just looks a lot safer for Team Spirit, who just doesn't have the best Roche heroes. And the reason that's bad is because if you can't kill Roche really quickly, the window that your opponents have to realize you're Roshing and show up to deal with it is just so much higher. And it's really scary. So now that Vici Gaming can't just TP near the Shrine to show up, even if it's slow TP, just makes it a lot easier for them to Roche. And that's why they just ran the Spirit over it. They're like, we gotta see. We need to know if they're Roshing.
It feels like Vici right now, they're just trying to farm up all the items that they can. They don't want to really necessarily take this fight. Looks like we're going to have that BKB soon for Old 11. What other items are we looking at here? Solar Crest finish. Oh, they found themselves a squirrel, and that's it. That's all she wrote.
So this could be an opening to start Roche. Yeah, they will take this. Any one kill. This could force Hoodwink to buy back. Hoodwink buys back. She did take the Shrine. That's one maybe mistake for Spears. They didn't take that back before running. Maposhka's headed for it now. But Vici Gaming doesn't go to defend anyways. They do not care much here. They're basically saying like, okay, you got it.
Teleporting. They have the smoke. They have a Shadow Blade online now for the Shadow Fiend.
They get there in
I'm not
time.
sure if they're going to be able to get there in time. Old 11 leading the charge.
Claps out of position
Find the
now.
opening, jumps in, Echo Slam onto them. Can they finish them off? That was the question. It's still
They
the
got
Old
it.
11 who picks it up. Follow with the RP though. The damage coming out plus the Earth Splitter. You're just seeing Poyoyo melt. Toronto Tokyo also going down. Old 11 will be right back up again, and boy, does Immortality feel good.
Dude, that was perfect for Vici Gaming. They got there just in time, and this is one of the negatives of showing both heroes on the Shrine, because like the best goal is basically like you kill Hoodwink and all 5 heroes take the Shrine in like 1 second. Then it doesn't take many hero resources. But then they need everybody to hit Roche, and then Maposhka's like, I have to get the Shrine, it's important. But that means that Collapse and Disruptor get there late. Nobody breaks the smoke early for Vision. They get on the Roche. Both the Morphling and the Earthshaker jump in due to the Morphling just finishing his Ags. And the fight ends up going quite well. Big damage there.
Oh gosh.
Now more kills. Collapse picks up Old 11 on the map. And that's a big pick off.
That is definitely a big pick off. Old 11 is definitely enabling these plays to be happening though, I have to say.
Yeah, as a whole. His Earthshaker has been really good.
It's been on point. He's had multiple heroes caught in Echo Slams.
Yeah. They don't
really
necessarily
is
win the fights, but like he's like...
His initiation's clean. It almost feels like every
really,
time.
It's really clean, and it's like above average. He's getting more damage, more disable than we're mostly seeing from Earthshakers typically.
Counter initiation coming out from Collapse also just very superb as well. So
Yeah, it's good.
there's a lot of spells happening in a tiny pit like that.
Definitely. That's pretty scary. So they retake the Shrine again. They're going to control the map. Yutoro, like you pointed out, had his BKB in that last fight. That helped a lot. He's going to go for a Gleipnir. Or Gleipnir? I don't know how to say it.
I think it's Gleipnir.
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 He's got that. He's going to buy it, sorry, eventually. That'll be really nice. Another way to AoE root the opponents. Very effective against Morphling, especially, because he's turning into an Earthshaker, so he won't be able to like hop around quite as much. Give him some anti-mobility. That'll be nice.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So for now, just looking for opportunities. Earthshaker in the area in case he needs to jump. They're playing near their ward very wisely. So they can get some freebies here, but yeah, how's the Morphling going to work is the question. I mean, he's turning into Earthshaker, he's getting some good bonus damage, but will this be effective? We'll see. Delays his BKB, so he's a little bit vulnerable, especially against like Disruptor and the roots. That stuff's scary for him. But
They're grouped up over here on the side of Spirit. I'm not sure if they're going to be going for a smoke play. Get a casual D-ward off, though.
Yeah, it just seems like they're trying to control some area here.
They definitely are.
Poshka again gets the cliff spot. This is one of the nice things, probably the nice thing about playing Disruptor, frankly. So easy to drop by Kinetic Field to get vision. So very simple to do these D-wards. And they're just farming the enemy side of the map. They can just farm so much deeper here due to getting that tier 2 so early. It's a big advantage that Tiny gives you.
Collapse with the horn toss back. The BKB comes out. They use the RP, though. They want to get rid of Ori as Toronto Tokyo jumps in. And they say, get off my lawn.
Yeah, really impressed. So am I, Collapse. Thank you, thank you. I gotta say, it's a little difficult.
There it is, though, the double Earth Shaker. Toronto Tokyo, he melts. Absolutely melts.
That was a lot of damage for just outside the base. It's like one of those moments you're like, hey, we got a kill. We can get stuff on the map. And then the enemy team's like, boom.
Oh, no.
You should never feel safe.
Well, now it's even.
It is even, yeah.
Both the mids are down.
Except they spent less resources on the Vici Gaming side.
True. They had to burn the RP for the Shadow Fiend, but they also ended up getting a BKB charge out.
That's true. That's a good point. So Team Spirit crosses the map again. They certainly want to play top semi-safely. They go for a sentry to try to find a ward. The second one, Poshka's going to nail it. Dude, this guy's he's really getting the D-wards. He's doing great. So vision for Vici Gaming, not going to feel quite as good. They still kind of are telegraphed where Team Spirit was running in that moment, so it bought them one more bit of information, but Tiny about to respawn here.
They found themselves a Maposhka, though, this time, so Old 11 will collect another kill.
So good at finding the enemy team and their wards.
Yeah. I mean, that is the danger, right? If you know where their wards are, you're going to take them out. They also can see you, which is a little bit of a problem.
So Gleipnir's up, Ember Spirit queuing up. Looks like Sanj, Kaya, and Ag. That's a lot of items to queue up, but hey, it kind of makes sense. Spell Amp here is really good because Gleipnir alone does a lot of magic damage. When you activate, it's like 220. Plus, he does a lot with like Searing Chains and Fire Remnants and stuff. So amplifying his damage is going to make it easier for him to pick off supports on the back line. And he's got a power too, so he doesn't even farm slow. This is pretty nice.
Yeah.
For a build that looks a little utility heavy, his net worth is still excellent. So Collapse is kind of guaranteed. His melee cores just have like insane net worth all game. Even though Morphling's also farming fast, he just accelerates his everybody else. He's suffering on net worth himself a bit, but it's fine.
Smoke play again coming out from Vici Gaming. They'll reveal that Ori's over in the mid lane. Again, they probably are thinking that, you know, he does have that Shadow Blade, although Tiny also going for a Shadow Blade himself.
It's just so good, honestly. It helps you move around a little safer looking for kills. Shadow Blade, that's one of the big reasons you sometimes want Shadow Fiend on kill heroes like, or sorry, Shadow Blade on kill heroes like Tiny. So you can see them and they don't necessarily see you, and then it gives you an opportunity to initiate. Otherwise, it's like you both see each other, he blinks away, you blink in, you know. Missed connections.
They see Old 11, though, is the question. He's sitting right underneath that sentry ward.
About to see his Fidger. Nah, that's a little too old now, I think. Maybe they did it first, but hey, look at the draw. Are they going to do a wrap?
And that's what it's looking like. Yep, we'll go for the wraparound play.
Mira had one sitting, and here comes the wrap. Tiny in the front. Sentries all over the place. He's going to spot this courier so they know about where the enemy team is.
Let's follow the little, I think that's a cat.
Tower is under attack.
Follow the kitty cat.
The BTS cat.
Radiant structures are fortified.
One of the first couriers.
Dire structures
More or less.
are fortified.
An arcane rune. They do a scan. They know exactly where they are.
Under attack.
PYW, the first one to get spotted. Breaks the smoke. Go. They immediately find him in the trees. Look at the courier. You can see Toronto Tokyo going in pretty far over here. So blow up DUI, PYW also, and then follow up over onto the back lines. This fight is just so spread out. The RP comes out. They end up taking down Collapse. They're trying to take down Poyoyo, but he's very, very tanky. And with this sort of chaos going on, Toronto Tokyo getting hit with the Shadow Fiend. Mira now trying to run, trying to get out of this kinetic field, but just links forward over on Old 11. Gets the fissure down. We got the double fissures for this Morphling too. Mira will fall. And Maposhka, I don't think, is much longer for this world either. Unless he can get the... Nope,
Nice.
there it is.
He got it.
Got the neutral creep for the deny.
It looked pretty good for Team Spirit at the start of the fight. It was like, man, they got 2 quick pickoffs right off the bat. They killed Earth Spirit. No, Elder
No.
Titan. There we go. My brain is
Maybe.
working.
I know, it's getting later. We've had long days, not a lot. Oh, very nicely done.
Nicely played. He knew he had to toss a tree early to get that extra hit in, but they got those 2 pickoffs, but the problem was that after they got those pickoffs, Magnus ended up just barely dying after the RP, and as a result, they didn't have enough damage follow-up. So the rest of their cores struggled a little too hard to clean up.
All right, well, we're at 33 minutes in. There's a 4K net worth lead going over to the side of Vici Gaming, and Morphling Poyoyo sitting on top of the net worth. Followed very closely, though, by the Tiny.
Yeah, Toronto Tokyo's been doing really good on farm speed, and having Titan Sliver helps a lot too. Dude's got insane base damage. It's a 60 damage neutral item that also gives him magic resistance and status resistance. It's like the tiny item. He goes for the kill though.
That's a lot of people there, but he just blows up PYW, throws out the old 11, though still alive. So he's going to just activate the BKB and teleport out.
Nice enough. Space created, you know. Another support is dead
Yeah.
on the map. He wasn't too worried there. Jumps in and blow him up. So we do know Morphling has the high net worth. What's he buying though? He's going E-Blade finally. It's going to be good. The most valuable, most likely for killing supports. So the faster he can kill people, the more it's going to help. Because he's got to kill the supports quickly, and then it's going to allow his team and his support space to work on the other cores. But at this point, it just feels like the cores on Spirit are pretty squirrely. No pun intended. It's not a pun, but you know what I mean. Not trying to make a squirrel joke, you know?
Well, the one time that I was like,
Don't believe me, huh?
I don't believe anything he's saying anymore. What is the whole thing? Don't believe his lies? Nah. You're not. I mean, honestly, the only person that's really easy to fool is Jenkins.
That's true.
I forget what they said. They said something the other day. I was like, is this a major city? And Jenkins is like, oh yeah, absolutely. And they're like, really? Very gullible boy. Smoke play, though, coming out from Vici Gaming. They have the Aghanim Scepter over on the Earthshaker, so he's going to be looking for these initiations. And he's already found some very clean ones, but they'll have their own movement over here on the side of Spirit. Both of them wanting to make moves, wanting to secure this next Roche.
It's Shard Roche. Very solid,
Big
some
one.
free net worth for their team. I'm sure Earthshaker would love a free Shard. I'm sure Shadow Fiend wouldn't be against it. It's pretty decent on him.
It is dangerous, though. They're going uphill during the nighttime. It's never usually a great play unless you have a lot of vision up.
Especially this ward here, or well,
Yeah.
tree ward from Hoodwink. Those things give vision for a long time, so they put a sentry down as well. This is kind of a decent way to approach it in case somebody comes up here like a support.
Poshka gets hit with the fissure. He's gonna hop over, and boy, he is
The
just
gem.
gone. Those double fissures, man.
Big pickoff. It's that they rewarded that cliff spot. Yeah, they pinged it right away. They know where
They
the ward
know.
is. It's like if the ward wasn't up there, if the sentry wasn't up there, it's gonna be to the right a bit. And so they'll be able to de-ward it. It sucks for them. They lost their gem though. I have a feeling that one was pretty fresh.
I think so. Now old 11 is already having a lot of space to do whatever he wants. He's gonna have even more now that he knows where all of Poshka's wards are.
De-ward those, control Roche area. I mean, if Spirit did get a pick off there, it would have been huge, obviously. Snapfire's going to pull.
Old 11 going in for this play. Has the BKB, is trying to man fight here with Toronto Tokyo. Even went and used his Echo Slam on it.
Huh.
That's a little surprising to me.
Could be one of those situations where he expects a follow-up
Yeah.
from his team. But they couldn't quite get there in time. Or maybe like somebody, he sees the opportunity, starts moving, maybe it doesn't communicate it, his team goes the wrong way. Yeah, and look how Team Spirit's playing. Mirror's just really focusing on trying to make sure that they're not in the Roche pit. Kind of expensive. You know, Mortimer's Kiss is good ulti, but hey, it happens.
I mean, they still have plenty of other AoE spells that they can throw over into the pit, but yeah, everyone is really keeping their eyes on this Roche.
They got a Relic for Earthshaker, the best neutral item. 25% more stun duration from Aftershock. That's going to offset all the status resistance Team Spirit's trying to work with, and they're going for the fight. The Spirit's coming in a little aggressive, though. They may realize, and they're going to smoke and back themselves. They know it's dangerous to fight till they get BKB on Tiny, so they got to watch out. And they're going to start the Roche. It looks like they killed the enemy observer, so they know they're playing in the area.
How do they approach this, though, is the question.
So hard. They already smoked, they only got half the team, so they kind of just have to go. Ember has to go in, but...
Starting in the Remnant. It's going to zip a little bit further, try to get some more information. But I don't think they're going to be able to find this. Even go for the Requiem just to make sure.
Yeah.
So they pick up the Ag Shard.
Very careful poking, but it's all kind of happened in a path, you know? That nice ward that got them a potion kill, that meant they couldn't play there anymore. Then the map gets controlled a little bit, and it's just, like, Team Spirit can go try to fight that, but just too much of a gamble. The game's still very even. Depends a lot how the next team fights go, but obviously Morphling having an Aegis is great. The free shard ended up going to somebody. Let's go find it. It's on Hoodwink right now, but yeah, and he's going to pass it over to Shadow Fiend instead. I was like, Hoodwink shard, that one's garbage. But Shadow Fiend one's kind of cool. Get a 90% damage bonus every 3 seconds, basically.
Look at the patience. Collapse. Horn toss right back immediately over onto Poyoyo. Opting not to go for the RP right off the bat. They should be able to throw a fissure over onto Mira. Mira with the Glimmer K. Poyoyo still going to be able to just blow him up with a shotgun.
He just knew where he was going to be. Perfectly landed. They get the kill. BKB does get popped, but yeah. Just pops a BKB before the follow-up can happen.
Yatoro finding DUI, uses the Gleipnir. Should be able to just dodge aside, just goes for the BKB just in case. We'll put a couple little hits over onto BYW. Has to be careful again. Vici Gaming all in the vicinity. The rest of the team, though, waiting patiently. They're going to regroup.
Yeah, he had to BKB there. He doesn't know who's about to jump on him. It
Sure.
could have been Hoodwink or who knows, something else. I guess that's basically it. Earthshaker was... I guess it could have been Earthshaker too, but... Or maybe Morphling has Fissure or somebody else that's mobile. Just doing the same thing. Gets the kill. It's going to basically make it harder for his opponents to go high ground.
Onto Tokyo. Bushwalk doesn't connect, but the Fissure sure does. Coming out for Poyoyo. The follow-up. They should be able to blow up Toronto Tokyo. Just the wrong place at the wrong time, my friend.
He should have just popped the BKB a little earlier to be safer, but didn't go for it. I thought he could get out too, but Chain Stun's so powerful against Morphling and Earthshaker.
That's a completed Sheepsticks now for the Hoodwinks.
Ooh, that's great.
Yes, that's excellent.
Great item
Quite
for the
the network.
circumstance. Ninja Gear, really good this game on basically any hero that wants it. Morphling, Hoodwink, Shadow Fiend. But I like the Trickster Cloak on SF. That makes a lot of sense. Give him a second way to go invis. Little evasion, magic resistance against any tiny burst. Magnus skewers away.
And the push is on over into the mid tower. Ori's got plenty of damage. Again, he does have the shard for the Necromastery. So that tower will fall. We'll clean up the creeps, and they need to do something to come back because they're jumping forward here. Throw trying to just run out, has a couple of these remnants, gets the slide up. Poyoyo looking for whatever else he can find. Old 11 hunting. The BKB does indeed come out, though. They're going to try to just teleport away, and they'll have to just go right back to the base.
Too tanky, even still. Yeah, if he doesn't have BKB active, he dies to like just nukes alone. But gets the stuff done on the map. Vici Gaming just being so efficient. They were only pushing mid with like 2 heroes. It's a ruse. The other 3 hunting. They didn't get any kills, but they got close. And finally, Tiny's almost alive at level 25 here. Once he's up, he's almost got a Satanic as well, actually. Could really help him fight to the death. Not so sure how well it's going to work against Morphling, but hey.
11. Bucko slam over onto Yatoro. They need to just hold him into place, lock him down, and it looks like they'll be able to. There will be no Ember Spirit here.
Now, if we click over on Ember, you're going to see that he has a refresher queued up, and then he's going to be like, maybe I need an Aeon Disc instead. But with that said, refresher is godly on the hero. You get 5 new charges of Fire Remnant. You're talking 300 damage per charge. Refresher is really good, because you could effectively dump like 10 Remnants to do like 3,000 AoE magic damage. It could be sick, especially with the Magnus on the team.
Onto Tokyo, though, hiding, has that silver edge. Poyoyo approaches to the tower. Hope with Glimpse play here, a little bit on.
Why?
I don't know. They are doing it. They're the pro player. I don't know. Fortification will come out. They want to protect it. As Poyoyo goes back into the Earthshaker form. Toronto Tokyo still being very patient. Has to be careful, though. They do have a sentry down over on the side. He's got to approach it from the right angle if he wants to make everything happen. So Cuirass is completed now on the Shadow Fiend. There's just so much damage that this guy's dishing out. Look at it. They just don't know how to approach.
And the best part is SF wasn't even there. He's just saying creeps the whole time. Didn't care.
Yeah.
He's like, I know they're not going to fight us. I'm going to be greedy. It works. More
Solution is just, they're just letting him take their, okay. Aegis does get reclaimed during all this. But yeah, they got half damage on that Rax just from the illusion.
Yeah. But it's more important that they can maybe get a pick off him. Toronto Tokyo is going to find Poyoyo, but
there's a lot of other people here. He's just going to go try to burst down DY, and by God, he'll be able to do it. There's a lot of damage, though. I don't know if he's going to be able to TP out in time, though. He won't.
I hesitated. I was like, does he not have TP or something? Why isn't he TPing? But he waited a moment, and it was too long. Ends up getting killed. Not worth the kill in the end. 90 seconds without buyback on him. He had just bought Satanic 2. Can't you Silver Edge after you start teleporting too? I feel
Doesn't
like
that
you can
break
do
the-
that. No, because it doesn't. Because you can use Shadow Blade after you used Witch Doctor ulti, right?
That's
I think
true,
it's
yeah.
similar. I think he might have been able to.
Oh,
Is there a
oh,
big
the
RP?
RP, but they go right into that static storm. Puyo over here on the edge, though, just rip apart, collapse. Yatoro now running for his life. Puyo is all the way into the base. He gets the kill on Maposhka. Go for that Echo Slam. Yatoro, though, they have the E-Blade, they have the Bushwhack, and now he is curtains.
They had to go for it without buyback on Toronto Tokyo. Like they've got to try to get a kill. And Morphling is the scary one here, who was potentially
Damage, oh my
burstable.
God.
But yeah, the damage is bonkers with these guys. Here's the buyback. Last shot here to try to get.
I don't think
A
they're
W,
afraid of this.
but-
I think they already used a lot of what they had.
They
You don't
did.
have the static storm? Well, throw out the Gleipnir. Okay, he doesn't care. He's just going to go right back in. But Poshka just evaporates as Poyoyo turns himself into the Earthshaker.
And that is gonna be about
think-
it here.
yeah, I
There's
think
no
that's-
remnants basically. Like he can't mess with them. They can slow it down. Tiny will be up in 20 seconds.
Mira here with that shotgun, hopping back into the base though.
It's close.
Waveform forward, over onto Yatoro. Yatoro trying to get back into his base, but they managed to hold him into place. He is down. I think that is going to be game. You have no buyback on your Ember. Old 11's just playing around over here on the side, uses the Echo Slam. They toss him up into the air, but they still manage to get the kill on Mira. Mira's going to buy back. They've got the BKB, but it's all over. Down goes the Ancient. Vici Gaming taking the victory.
Nicely done by them. Game was pretty plodding. Like both teams kind of got their little opportunities, but as a whole, Vici Gaming just played for the late game. They got some crucial pickoffs. I would say Team Spirit played a little sloppy. There was definitely some deaths that were unnecessary on them. A couple mistakes here and there, but as a whole, Team Spirit played solid, but Vici Gaming was just clean from beginning to end.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, I'm still gonna go back to that one quote about saying if Old 11 wants to go in, if he wants to dive, no one can stop him. He is an unstoppable force. And I think this game was a clear indicator when you saw how many of those Echo Slams and how many just clean initiations he had, even though they might have always been able to secure the victory. But yeah. Very aggressive play coming out from Vici Gaming. And with that said, we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, we'll have game number 2 of Team Spirit versus Vici Gaming. All right, guys, this is it. This is the last game of the night for this stream. And it is, of course, Vici Gaming versus Team Spirit. Vici Gaming looking very, very dominant in the old 11 show, honestly. But
Yeah. He got so many good Echo Slams that game. Really, really solid performance by him. Team Spirit felt a little disappointed. They had potential to do really solid that game, but there's just a couple small mistakes here and there that Vici Gaming did such a good job punishing. So it kind of made things a little one-sided by the end of it, but it was still a good match. Team Spirit currently sitting probably 2-5 now in terms of win rate. So love to see them get a couple more W's on the board if possible. But yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things too, is that they are a lot younger. They are a bit more inexperienced as opposed to a lot of, these people that have been playing for quite a while. Obviously, we all know of PYW, DY kind of fixtures on Vici Gaming at this point. Old 11, truly a rock star within the Dota 2 world, and, Ori and Poyoyo making a name for themselves, but you've got over on Team Spirit Maposhka, who has been in the Tier 2 scene and moving upwards steadily. And then the other guys they're a bit newer. They're young, they're fresh talent, and I like the big names are, of course, Collapse making a name for himself, and Toronto Tokyo. A lot of people are very excited to see where these careers will go.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning for these guys, frankly. So even if they wash out a TI a little bit early or something like that, they still accomplished a lot. They're going to do great next DPC season, whenever that happens. So hopefully they can get some more W's under their belt, but Vici Gaming is going to be a tough cookie to crack. First phase bans some more expected ones, but Elder Titan squeaking up in priority, as does the Tiny. So a little bit different heroes will make it through.
It's interesting to see how this meta is really unfolding. Before we came into the group stages, I had not put Elder Titan on the top of my priority list, but he's definitely becoming more and more prominent. Some of it depends on the team. Snapfire's also been a hero that has crept into the meta.
One thing that's really nice about Elder Titan is his ability to control Roche, actually. Like, you saw in the last game, Mira, the Snapfire, literally used his ulti just for vision on Roche. And Elder Titan does that literally constantly. Just throws the spirit out, runs it in, runs it away. Throws the spirit out, check. It's like they only have this like 20-second window that you know that they're not Roche. And Hoodwink also very good at that. Throw the tree sits there for like 10 to 20 seconds or something insane, giving a little bit of vision so you know they're not Roshing. So that can make a big difference. And Team Spirit taking away the victory, the Earthshaker.
You do not let Old 11 get that again. There's no way. He'll pick up the Weaver, though. Use it as a support. Most likely over on the side of Vici. I think I can imagine DY or PYW. Probably DY running that in particular.
Very possible. I don't know. Have I even seen Weaver carry today?
No, I don't think you have. Okay. They pick up Old 11s here. It could... Again, I've seen a couple mid-tide hunters. That was Thompson, though, running that one. But a bit of a flex.
I feel like it's less common for Chinese teams to do like major role swaps, though.
True.
For some of those tricky heroes, they're usually more solidified in what they're going to do. That kind of ability to pivot later on in the tournament is really valuable, though, because it really can, when the margins get closer between the teams, it just can really give you a big advantage that you're not expecting or don't want to lose. So. Good hero to pick, though. Doesn't have to worry about getting Chan Echo Slam because you can actually cast Ravage in between once he does enough damage to you, so that can work nice. But kind of interesting for them to open to it so early. Ooh, a Rubik pick. Justified, it makes sense. Rubik, not the greatest hero right now, but look at the two heroes he's against. If you can steal Ravage, you're very happy, and Weaver, super easy to steal Sakuchi from him, especially from support Weavers, because you just don't have the mana pool to like cover it consistently, so... Rubik playing with Sakuchi, free Blink Dagger basically with like a half nuke AoE. He's going to farm faster. He's going to be able to initiate with his team. He's going to be able to scout for his team. It's a great pick. So almost guarantees Earthshaker 3 as a result.
Moposhka does play this. He does play the Rubik as well. So
yeah,
you could
true,
have some rotation. But... Honestly, I see so much Earthshaker 3 right now. It just seems way too good to like get that early Blink Dagger and start making things happen around the map.
Yeah, that's true. There has been some 4, but it's not super common. And even the 3, it's like even if you get pressured in lane a little bit, it doesn't matter. The Blink still comes so fast. And like there's some other offlane heroes where you rush Blink a little fast. Like if you skip your boots upgrade, it feels a little bit rough because you're like, oh, that's all about the ulti. But Earthshaker is just so powerful in terms of being on top of heroes that it's just justified every single time, feels like. So now banning out counters to their 2 heroes, the Rubik and the Earthshaker. It's Clockwork is definitely a big one. Get vision, hit that back line. That's something that hasn't been happening much today, is that a support deals with that back line. It's almost always a core
Yeah.
lately. They have the net worth, they have the mobility skills, they can defend themselves while they go backline. But Clockwork doesn't really care. Like if he jumps on an Earthshaker while the rest of his team's fighting, and as long as he like cogs him in and lets him not get out for like 8 seconds, that's usually enough to win a fight. So support doing that would be really powerful.
Remain.
With that said though, they're worried about
5
tree.
seconds.
Very good lane stabilizer. Could be very effective against this possible Earthshaker Rubik dual lane. Just by keeping them alive, making it hard for them to run away. If people go on Rubik and he doesn't have Sakuchi, he's going to die easy. So a hero they are worried about. It could also be that they're worried about their tower damage. Earthshaker, that's one negative for his. He doesn't pressure the tower very well compared to most offlaners because he's not quite as tanky. He's happy if the lane kind of equilibrium kind of stays semi-equal, and he doesn't really ever want to walk past the tower because if he's out of position like that, he's going to get ran down typically.
Yeah, he's all about positioning specifically.
But a hero like Tide, cross past the tower, go anchor smash the next creep wave, go hit the tower. It's easier to pressure the tower than for somebody like Earthshaker. So
Vici's got to be ready though. Once old 11 blinks in there, he's going to ravage, and you better be there to be able to follow up, because there's only so much that a Tide Hunter really can do on his own. So just trying to figure out now what exactly they want to ban. It's going to probably be a bit indicative of which core they want to pick up on the side of Vici Gaming. So they go and they ban out the Razor.
interesting. Pretty good run at you diving hero, but maybe some past game data that tells them
10
this. I
seconds remain.
feel like I've probably seen Toronto Tokyo play at mid before, but I just feel like there's not much
5
information
seconds
revealed in either
remain.
draft. But neither team in a major disadvantage.
It is Radiant's ban.
Ban Dusa now. A little bit worried about the very individually tanky hero. Kind of makes sense from an Earthshaker standpoint. It's like you do these great combos, but like Dusa does not care about that like moderate to high amount of burst damage, because it's like, oh, you burn through a quarter or half of my mana, and now I'm still alive, and I'm gonna
10
pop ulti, and that's gonna
seconds.
interrupt the momentum. So maybe it's like an anti-momentum hero in that sense for initiators.
5
Do you think we're going to see something like a Sven or a Lifestealer, since they did ban out the Razor? Or is that too specific?
Why you're thinking Vici Gaming will pick it due to the Razor being banned?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a decent thought. Just because Razor does work well against those heroes. I'm not really sure. It's hard for me to explain the Razor ban, unless, except for like past game history or something. But
Disruptor.
Take
Dis-
the Disruptor this time around. So good way to kind of deal with the Earthshaker, right? If the Earthshaker's blinking in, if you're fast enough, you can glimpse them right back out again. Not really the best, but does give you that option. It gives you that AoE silence. Gives you a little bit more catch, which
yeah, I
is
would say
always nice.
it's better for like
10
initiating on him.
seconds
The
remaining.
counter initiate, he's usually gonna cast at least like 2 spells before he gets glimpse back. He
5
probably doesn't mind that much about that, but like you can definitely guarantee kills on like Rubik or Sugar. Like Disruptor is good against heroes that need to cast spells that are a little squishy and they have to cast spells to be survivable. So it gives them a tool against the Rubik as well. If he like Sakuchi's away, they can actually like reach out and pull him back, kind of a thing. Like that could be maybe another reason they're thinking about it. But as we saw in the last game, Disruptor is just really solid. Good dewarding and warding, initiation, teamfight potential against somebody that doesn't have a BKB. So if Weaver scouts, Disruptor glimpses back, they get kills sometimes. But Spirit's going to have to draft here. They don't get the power of Ursa to easily win against the Tidehunter. It's the one downside of picking in the first phase. You have to worry about getting pressured there.
And the Monkey King's already been withdrawn at this point from the pool, so Tide should have a fairly decent time. They might want to go for something ranged, perhaps, but
Maybe. I feel like that's going to be squishier to Weaver, because if Weaver is
true.
a 4,
That's true.
he's been very effective at like pressuring, just harassing a huge amount in the lanes, and having Weaver plus Tide is a lot of minus armor too. So they go for the Void. It just seems like the hero that people love picking against Weaver. It's actually for both reasons. Time dilation's amazing against Sakuchi as well. It's the skill that makes Weaver feel like a strong hero. And then obviously Chronosphere is also very good. And the crazy thing is they could actually just totally snag an Invoker right now.
That would not be the worst idea. We've seen Toronto Tokyo play that Invoker
5
to
seconds.
great effect.
It feels like the gimme, but
Oh,
they're
they
going
go
to
for
go for
Lina.
Lina instead.
Alright. Is that a 4 Lena? That was my question. I know it's not as popular now, but
Probably not. It's just it's a lot weaker than it used to be
Mhm.
because the stun is like a 13-second cooldown at level 1, so you can't keep your fiery souls going. I mean, it used to be like what, 10 seconds? Well, originally it was 7. That was where it was crazy. Freaking 7-second AOE cooldown on a stun. Um,
10
But
seconds.
so yeah, as a 4, not so good. She hasn't really seen a huge amount of play, but some teams are
5
dabbling with her.
seconds remain.
I think their goal was like, yeah, Cataclysm is really solid and all, but having Lina as basically a range core is going to be a little safer potentially,
Last man.
and it also kind of covers them for the mid pick. They do have to pick their next hero,
Dyer's
so it's
turn
probably
to
more
ban.
like they knew what their last 2 heroes were likely going to be,
Mhm.
or at least so that they just felt more comfortable picking Lina because they knew it was going to fit well with the Void. If I had to guess. Good for following up on Earthshaker stuff, typically. He can go a Shadowblade build if he wants to get break against Tidehunter and Spectre. It kind of
10
works out, actually.
seconds remain.
Looks alright. And then we see a Phoenix ban from Vici Gaming and a Kunkka ban
5
from Team
seconds.
Spirit.
That makes sense. If you've got the Chronosphere, you don't want to have to deal with the egg over on the side of
Turn
Vici,
to
and then of
ban.
course you don't want to have to deal with the boat going into the Chronosphere if you're not careful enough. You still just have to be careful in general, right? Because if you don't grab like the Tidehunter or the Disruptor, they're just going to go and just ruin your day with that Chronosphere. But right now, it really looks like a matter of who
Dyer's turn
initiates
to
upon
pick.
who. Looking at this draft, right? Because you've got very good counter initiation, whether it's a Faceless Void or Earthshaker, or on the other flip side of things, you've got the Tide Hunter, you've got Spectre Haunt, which will be very helpful, and it could cause a lot of problems for Earthshaker, potentially, if he's trying to like blink into fights and they get the Haunt off first.
10 seconds
Plus other,
remain.
AoE spells, much like the Static Storm.
Yeah, I like the Spectre here, actually.
5 seconds
Because if you're going to
remain.
get Chronosphere, you might as well be somebody that's super tanky.
Mhm.
Gives you some options, assuming they don't get break, but it's going to be a while till they're able to afford that. I remember the like Lina Shadowblade days. It was like you'd always go Yules and then Shadowblade immediately afterwards.
Radiant's
Like
turn
good
to
days for the Lina, and they go for an Ogre as their last pick. So very likely 5 Ogre for Rubik. Pretty much expected roles as we expected to see. Bloodlust on Void, really solid, of course. Good laning stage, good later, but a TA is the pick.
Ooh.
Make the ultimate choice.
I think that is a really solid snag there for Vici Gaming, because against Alina, you can't help but feel a little vulnerable to that one, in my opinion. Because even if you like catch TA, if she's got refraction up, like you do not want any of your sources of damage to be blocked. They've got some damage over time abilities like Ogre Magi and stuff like that, and she can be locked down and killed, but a lot of chunky stuff on Team Spirit side, a lot of chunky damage is what I'm trying to say. So I like that. He'll be able to sit back and farm. The gank from Team Spirit is possible, but not like the most incredible because they don't really have a traditional 4 like a like an Earth Spirit type like
Right.
roam and initiate easily thing. But maybe they
10
can pressure
seconds.
Ori. If not, he's gonna farm well. And then he's
5
got to go
seconds
create some space for
remain.
Spectre. That's maybe the only downside is that TA and Spectre is a little greedy.
But it's also a situation too where like every time that Team Spirit tries to put any pressure on the map, they have to watch out for Old 11 because the potential of that Ravage. Sometimes the potential is just even scarier than the actual Ravage itself. Is Tidehunter not wearing pants?
Yeah. hmm I didn't know that was legal on
I didn't.
Twitch.tv. Kraken, naked Krakens.
Naked
Change
Krakens.
the,
I mean, he's not
change the
naked.
title.
It's not naked. He's got a helmet on. He's just
I-
he's Winnie the Poohing
I
it.
guess so.
You know?
Yes, he really is.
Shirt, no pants. All right. Well, anyways, yeah. The potential for a Templar Assassin to really take off is pretty good. The fact that a lot of these guys are a bit squishier, they'll be able to be burst down, and again, as mentioned earlier, that the only real DOT that they have on the side of Team Spirit at the moment is going to be Moposhka with that burn.
Ignite. Ignite? Yeah, Ignite.
Yes, because the other one is Fire Blast. All right. Oh, he's not wearing much clothes either. What is happening?
Nobody's
is this Dota
wearing-
after dark?
This bug creature is not wearing clothes either.
He never wears clothes.
Bugs wearing clothes. That does sound very weird. Very.
I'm
makes
sure.
me
I'm sure if
uncomfortable.
you Google it, there's probably a thing there.
Bugs wearing clothes.
Bugs wearing clothes.
Going to work, wearing business casual.
Isn't like the whole Richard? What is it? Richard Scarry, the busy town. Isn't that like worms and stuff that are like going to work?
No idea
Like
what
cats?
you're talking about.
You don't know it?
No clue.
I swear, it's a thing. Yeah, it's got like a little worm wearing like a hat and a shirt and a shoe.
Я безумно
Sounds slightly familiar, but
If you saw it, I think you would
Okay.
know what I'm talking about. But the traditional smoke to get out to that mid lane as fast as possible to see if anybody's going to be dropping vision. Siatra will cross the river, run into PYW, and take a couple hits here. Poyoyo also going to get on this business.
that big 50 + 2 Spectre damage. Watch out.
Oh, but they're having fun. They're going for what? They won't high-five Collapse, but they'll high-five
They
Yatoro.
can't see it. They don't know. Well, they do actually, but they don't want to reveal. That's actually
That's actually
smart.
next level strats right there.
Yeah.
Can he see that I want a high five? They go and
10-man ward gank. Incredible. Old 11 does get the last hit, though, so that's gold for somebody. They split the experience evenly, though. It was DY bringing out a whole extra tango. Good for him.
good stuff. Poyoyo, Mira, they're all trying to fight over it, but Mira picks it up.
Some good damage.
It's a lot of damage on both of them, honestly, on PYW and Mira.
That's definitely the most fighting I've seen at a bounty rune.
Yes, it is.
At,
Usually
TI.
someone just cowers away.
Quad bounty rune for Team Spirit.
God, what's the win rate on that? That's pretty high, right?
It's called the GG. It's actually, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, right? Your first set of items is going to start moving earlier. Not a lot of couriers moving on the Vici gaming side is what I'm trying to say, so it's not that big of a deal.
Surprised that, okay, so we do have the sentry ward over on Maposhka. I'm guessing he'll place that at some point. Just keep tabs on PYW, continue just trading hits here, trying to be just as annoying as possible and making just the space so that way his faceless way can hit things. Because Old 11, he's going to be able to be very, very aggressive in this lane against the Void.
He should be able to, especially getting Anchor Smash level 1 like this. Like, good luck. You're just not going to win your trades. Weaver's going to be slapping you. Maposhka going for the courier kill, but he's not going to get it. He's a slow Ogre Magi. That one hurts. And in the meantime, Yatoro's being pressured, and he's like, huh, where's my Ogre?
Got distracted, thought something shiny.
Ooh, got the double Ignite. 200 damage instead of 100 damage. Very good. Another courier he wants to murder, but he cannot.
No, he can't. He is just a large ogre. How's the middle lane going? Looks like Toronto. Wow.
Just getting TA very low, but you know. Lena's just like one of those heroes that like basically any top pro is going to be like really freaking good at. So it's like they're going to know how to pressure this effectively, and that's kind of how you're supposed to play the hero. It's been balanced around being really good at harassment and stuff like that.
You also have the harassment that comes out from those Sly Blades too, so it's a pretty even, pretty obnoxious play for either one of them that they'll have to deal with position-wise. Remember the days where it was like just so easy to be able to go and just throw out an LSA every time somebody came in for the last hit?
It's a good time, I gotta say. I do like playing the Lena 4. It's very fun, especially the transitioning, because it's like you're kind of playing mid, but you can be more spellcasty. So it's like you get to buy a bunch of fun items. I like it.
You got a weapon span here. Excellent.
Oh, he really went out, dude.
Yeah, collapse.
Leveled up his chat rules, that's for sure.
That's for sure. A little bit slower of a start this time around. I think last game we saw quite a few kills right off the bat. We did see some fighting over the bounty runes earlier, but
That's true.
so
But
far.
it kind of makes sense though, because they picked heroes that weren't necessarily like the best pressure kill lane type stuff. It's more like we just know they're going to be really good in the game, and that's exactly what Rubik's doing here. Old 11 super aggressive at the top lane. It's like got
Classic Old
no
11.
health, but less health than his opponents, but he's still running at them and not the opposite.
Big tanky lad.
He is. He just got his ring of health as well. Still anchor smashing Toro here.
Trying to make a play. He is tanky, but Yatoro taking a lot of damage. The gush over on Maposhka, though, as first blood goes over to killing Poyoyo. Maposhka so low. They don't quite have enough damage. 30-something hit points.
The tankiest boy, dude. 10 armor, 10.6 armor actually when he got under tower there at level 2. He's kind of the perfect support, and I think this is why they picked him. It's a dual minus armor offlane.
True.
It's Weaver and it's Tide. Dude's got so much armor, he just resists a lot of that damage reduction. It's a lot more beneficial to play against minus armor when you have a lot. Tidehunter on the top lane taking a pretty good amount of damage. I think he's going to be fine here, unless they get a bash with the
Oh,
lead.
the time walk forward.
Gotta get the bash. He gets
Gotta
it!
get there's a bash.
I mean, that wasn't as cool as that one.
Are they able to? Can they get the kill on Yato? This is totally worth it. If that.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. All right.
Ugh. Yeah. It looked so good, but
Until it wasn't.
now Weaver just has a whole urn coming.
Yeah. That feels pretty good for PYW, not so great for Team Spirit as, oh, in the other lane, they end up losing DY. Poyoyo's just getting very bullied. Mira and Collapse just very aggressive. The dagger gets tossed out by Poyoyo.
That's going to hurt the spec all right.
This pressure is intense.
And his courier just came too. He's got 2 tangos left. Let's see what Disruptor brings back. The salve is coming. He's going to bring a Ring of Basilius as well, but Collapse is just really hitting him with damage.
Look at this, the Soul Ring, put out another fissure. Might be able to get a kill off of this, though. No?
Did he try to...
It looked
I don't
like
know
he
if
got,
he was successful.
It looked like he got pushed out of the kinetic field.
Yeah, I think he tried to push himself out of the kinetic field, maybe to get some distance. I don't know if it was like he was already trapped or he's like, I want a little oomph to get out of here, but
Yeah.
either way, that was next level. He was very ready for that.
Is in danger.
Pushka stopping through the mid lane. Yatoro's courier, that's our boots that are no longer available to him. And we've got the Bloodlust over in Toronto, Tokyo. We do have level 6s online for both of the mid players.
What a
However,
snipe.
they're still very stationary.
Killing his boots, that's his power treads being finished. That hurts a lot on his hero right now. But Poshka trading hits, doesn't even have boots, doesn't have Orb of Venom. He's just doing ogre stuff. But sucks for Yatoro to lose that. Like, just being able to like get out of the way for anchor smash damage and damage reduction is a lot. That's a lot of health lost as a result. But see what it is with the skill points on Faces Void. More time walk, more time block. Not sure which he'll do, but for now a little jungling while the wave is in a bad spot. Without boots, it's like running all the way home is a little bit of a tough one. Oh, that's cool. Poshka using Ignite to stack 2 camps at the same time. Great stacks for him right now.
Be able to secure up this Invis rune here for Ori. But again, neither one of these mids really making any moves, just very content on farming currently. Makes sense.
They're both farm heavy. It's just like one of those things where if you don't also farm really well, it's just not worth it. It's better to like match farm. You can't like shut them down as much. Just a lot safer to hit the creeps yourself, basically.
Pinging a little bit over here, but they'll have the TP. They want to take out Old 11. They'll hold him in place here. It's only sitting at level 4. Throws out the fissure, manages to land on 2. Is he actually going to survive this? Oh, what a player.
Telekinesis is so huge there, especially against Spectre.
I don't even think they get this kill on Mira. Got the dagger. No, with the glimpse back, they should be able to get this. Throws out the Fade Bolt, pops that Fairy Fire. Old 11 trying to protect his boy, but he's not going to be able to.
Really making him work for it, though. It's pretty fun. And
Oh, the
instantly
fissure?
breaks it. He's got 1 urn left, but now he can't use it for himself. That was actually... JK, there's himself. Still pretty good, though.
Turning back around on Poyoyo. They're both sitting quite low.
Claps really just pushing his margins continuously. Fun to watch, though. Bringing a raindrop as well, so power treads for him. I'm sure Mira brings some regen. No? Oh, yeah, it does bring a salve. Okay. So... health for Earthshaker. TIA level 8 now. Looks like Toronto's going to start the stacks now. I gotta see this. This is going to be fun to watch. And actually, Lena's going for fast boots to travel. This is sometimes done if Lena's like really far ahead, or if like there's not a lot of kill threats on him, right? It's not like he has to deal with silences.
The Invis rune here.
The Dyers.
Ori getting information, seeing stacks.
Forces.
No one else
Yes.
nearby.
I don't think he's actually seen it yet. He doesn't know the other stacks there, but this
He
is where
definitely sees that.
yeah, this is where
Does he
it gets
break
tough.
it though? He
Push
pings
this
it out.
line.
The rest of the team on their way over. They're going to try to go for the fight. Maposhka, though, will give the Bloodlust. Runs right into PYW and Ori. Throw out the bugs, trying to take the stack. Yatro's here as well. Follow up the LSA. And they get the Chronosphere off over onto Ori. They should be able to get enough damage. So that way, Toronto Tokyo secures himself the kill, secures himself a stack. PYW is still here. He's trying to just be annoying, trying to get anything that he can out of this. Old 11, though, making his own rotation. He's got the level 6. He's holding on to the point. Can he find anything here? I think it's going to be too difficult.
He's a little low in Yatoro, but that ward really paid off. It still got denied in the end, but Toro barely getting his illusion rune too. Nicely done. Yeah, so they protect the stacks. They get a big kill. What better way to kill the TA? You make this juicy stack, and you're like, come take it. And then you just kill him when he comes.
Luring him in.
Yeah, easy rotation for Void to do this. Again, he's having a bit of a tough time against Old 11 because he's being contested by a lot, actually. He's almost 20 last hits behind Old 11. The absolute sea monster. But hey, he gets a chrono kill on the TA. It could have been a lot worse for how his game's going.
See that the Weaver is making a rotation again, bottom, looking to possibly make something happen. Mirror being held into the cage. The Shikuchi, the bugs, they need a little bit more damage. Telekinesis won't connect. They've got the glimpse to pull him back. And that kill will go to PYW.
Yeah, he's just vulnerable, unfortunately. Every time they make that rotation, you can't survive Glimpse and Sakuchi bugs and the dagger and the rundown. It's tough. Once he hits 6, the fun's going to happen for him. But unfortunately, their lane went okay, but not like massively well. It's gone well for Collapse, though. 2-0 and 1. That's the big advantage that they've gotten out of this. He's at 1,300 gold, having a great one. I gotta say, watching Collapse play so well, I can't help but think that he's like someone's gonna try to snipe next DPC season, you know?
You think so?
Yeah, it'd be like some like Navi type org or something. I know Navi has a great roster right now, but you know, could see something like that. That was not a joke. They legit didn't they announce like a bunch of? I swear they announced their new team. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong.
The Haunt is out. They put a little bit of pressure over onto Collapse. I do get the glimpse right into the silence. There's not going to be any spells coming out from this boy right now. PYW with time lapse, one more hit. And that's a dead Collapse. Over in the mid lane, they're trying to make a play over onto Ori. Didn't quite manage to lock him into place long enough, so we'll just back off for now, push out the wave potentially, and maybe try to take a tower.
Nicely done. He used Meld to interrupt the animation of Fire Blast. If he doesn't do that, the stun lands and he probably gets followed up on it. Maybe dies, but all works out okay. Rubik picks up 7, very likely Tome there. And Waposhka just focusing on making his team better. Bloodlust for them is all he cares about right now. And another kind of interesting thing, Void's going to get Midas. It's on the way right now.
Huh.
But he knows he had a rough laning stage. He's against a Spectre. He wants to win the late game. Like, don't try to tempo the Spectre. Just try to keep your farm up and get your levels up and beat him in the late game with Chronosphere.
Yeah, not a typical pickup that we see currently, but
yeah,
the reasoning makes sense. PYW doing a bit of scouting. Ooh, there's a courier. There's a couple couriers here. Gonna be able to take down Collapses. The Midas was delivered to Yatoro, though, before he was forced to run.
I got no idea why Collapse's courier was there. But
I don't know either. Maybe he was planning on going top and wanted to get, like, I don't know.
See
I
his
really
friend
don't
out
know.
on the map? I don't know.
I really don't know.
Nope.
Sometimes couriers do weird things, though, too. Sometimes my courier will just go randomly mid.
Huh. Like, a lot, it happens to me sometimes, too, but I'm pretty sure it's always because I, like, select my courier, I right-click the ground, then I select my hero, thinking I right-clicked my hero, you know?
That's possible.
So then it just goes and stops somewhere weird that I used to be looking. I think that's what's happening, but anyways, Blink is purchased. Oh, and his courier, due to it being fed, now can't bring himself his very important Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he either needs a friend to come and deliver it for him, or he's got to go back home.
I don't think you can pick up your friend's items, though, is the problem. Maybe that should be changed. I mean, you shouldn't do it for pubs, obviously, but like, surely private lobbies it should be allowed, you know? Like, homie, pick up my Blink. Look at this, he literally has to TP home to grab his items now. Because it's just not worth waiting. Like, he could wait 1 minute and then wait like another 30 seconds to bring the Blink, but that's a big timing miss.
That and I thought he was grabbing a smoke too, no? I guess not.
He does
he
have
does. He does have a
yep,
smoke.
yep.
Like, this is a big reveal for him. Like, they want to make something happen. They have this advantage. It's a power spike. It's going to pair up probably with Toronto Tokyo. Maybe see if they can find a pick off down here. There is not a Spectre, though. Spectre has moved deeper into her own jungle.
Unfortunately, they're here just a little bit late.
Oh, there it is. The Echo Slam over onto BYW. And that's a squashed bug.
Did not react in time. The moment Earthshaker saw him, goes in with the creep wave. So there's a couple ways PYW could have been safer there. Not walk with the creep wave. Let the creep wave go first. You walk behind it. That way the creeps give you some vision. But he just did not expect to get ganked there, it seems like. But Toronto Tokyo's happy with that. There's the clip once again. Instant Echo Slam on a full creep wave. Just the Dragon Slave was all that was needed to finish it off. And that's going to get Lina a little bit closer to his BKB, but invasion from Vici Gaming as
Oh,
well.
look at this. They scan. They know that someone's on the way. They haven't seen Old 11. They haven't seen DY. They get the glimpse back, though, followed up with a beautiful Ravage. Silence to go, also with the Haunt. Or he will find himself the kill. Steal here. It's going to be the Shikuchi. Mira's going to be happy about it.
He's been waiting for that one for a while here.
Yes, indeed. Rest of the team now grouping up around the middle tower on the side of Spirit. Levin is a very tanky boy, but there are so many heroes here that he's gonna get just ripped apart. But I suppose he's already used that Ravage, so I'm sure it's not the end of the world for him.
And while they killed the Faceless Void, I mean, losing your tier 1 tower here in
Yes.
the mid lane is not gonna be great. Lift on the Dire side, Lina does insane right-click damage, even more attack speed because of Bloodlust, so
That's a
dead
good tower.
And this is what I meant earlier by like the carry mid thing. Like Lina has always been pretty good at right-clicking, but it's been a lot more popular lately for Linas to like really focus on the right-click stuff. Because yeah, you can go like the Yule's builds and BKB and Shadowblade to like be about setting up your spells, but it's just better to rely on the right-click because you just end up being like a sniper role. It's just safer and more reliable rather than having to deal with like, I Yule's him, I'm about to set up, and then somebody else counter-initiates on me and I die, you know? Because Lina's just a little vulnerable. So you just play this like high movement speed, sit at the back, get BKB, and then he's going to buy like Daedalus or something.
Well, Mira went for another steal, got himself some more time with that Shikuchi. Always nice to get some sort of a movement spell when you are playing Rubik. PYW again, going to this bottom lane. They dropped the sentry. They're hunting for him. No, he's down in this area.
Ooh, that was, well, I don't think it mattered, but they were like, ah, screw it. Let's Bloodlust. He Bloodlust Void, and it also gets the random creeps. Like, huh, I wonder if Ogre's there.
Nah.
I like that he's a sentry here. This wave, PYW, Sakuchi's through the creep wave. They'll see him.
The top lane, the Laguna Blade comes in, cleans up Poyoyo.
What a kill. They get the carry there.
They do get the carry.
Big
And
pickup.
they've just completed the Blink Dagger now over on Old 11. So we will probably be seeing some more aggression coming out soon. And Collapse is forced to just teleport away. A little bit of a skirmish going on over here on the side. You can see the teleports coming in, Old 11. They drop the signs immediately over onto Mira. They'll do as much damage as they can. Don't quite have that Ravage. It's a little bit early here. Old 11, he wanted to go though. He's going to be up in 5, 4, 3, 2. Is he going to be able to get it off in time? Will he even use it? No, he will not.
If he had that like 2 seconds earlier and his team actually stayed around any time in the last 15 seconds. Yeah. They looked at it like 10 seconds, there's no way, dude. And they just ditched. It's not worth sticking around in that circumstance. Give him the kill occasionally. Mira did a great job tanking though. I don't blame Tide for jumping on, but losing Static Storm like that's going to hurt, I think. Not getting a kill from it, but DY queuing up his Agatha Shard, actually.
Nice.
It's going to take some time to get it, of course, but once he does, very good to amplify your core, basically. If he puts that on, like, TA, it's going to just make you zip around the fight. More attack speed. You'll do a lot more damage, stuff like that.
A lot more kiting and the capability of, you know, dodging in and out of those fights. That's something that TA really likes. She prefers to do more of the skirmishing variety.
For now, faces Void just slapping his creeps as much as he can while Poshka tanks, using his body to offset the fact that he doesn't have lifesteal. Does get a salve. Yeah, they've had a trusty shovel, so it helps a bit here, but...
Just get the Philo Stone too, which is very, very nice, so can always swap that out.
Oh, and he passed it to Mir. What a total, bro. Walked it to him. Justified courier.
Yeah.
But Yatoro's net worth
They
is
know.
looking solid.
They know they're in the pit. They've done the scan. They've got the Desolator online for the Templar Assassin. You've got Gush. You've got Bugs.
They do not have
They have Blink.
Echo, though.
But they don't have Echo, like you said. They're just going to throw out a casual fissure. Scare them a little bit. The Blink forward. Immediately into the silence, though. There it is. There's the Ravage. They go for the Laguna Blade over onto Collapse. It's going to be the Haunt. They do manage to finish it off, though. They'll get the Aegis online for the TA. Collapse. That's a big meld strike. He stole the Ravage, but is it going to be enough to follow up with the Chronosphere from Yatoro? Needs to get some more damage, though, and he doesn't quite have it now. He's going to try to run out. Maposhka's been left behind. He's going to be the sacrificial lamb, and they just finally cut him down. And Yatoro, look at that long-range bullwhip, is just trying to run away. He's going to have that time walk up again in 1 second, so he has managed to vacate the area, but Vici Gaming, they secured themselves an Aegis, And they've won themselves a team fight.
Pretty hopeful there by Team Spirit to jump in the way Collapse did. Like, I get they're trying to limit what they're doing, but they were well positioned and ready to go. As soon as Earthshaker jumps in, gets one enchant totem off, it's like...
They needed the Echo Slam, I think.
Yeah, and if they have it, it would have been probably a bit of a different fight because he could better look for a hero kill, but I guess he was just hoping to get the steal. Jump in. He's got 4 points in enchant totems. He's got a lot of damage. He definitely could have killed Roche if it was low enough, but couldn't do it. No Roche kill. Ends up kind of being out of position. Kind of everybody forced into that one. And the chrono looked great, but there's no follow-up damage at that point. It had to be like Lina close to Void to follow up and start right-clicking the right guy, but they knew they weren't going to get the kill, so...
We've had just these couple like really close kind of calls. Oh, Toronto, Tokyo. He's got the Shadow Blade, walks right into Old 11, goes with the Laguna over onto PYW, and that's a dead Weaver.
That was close. Gets him, though. He's like halfway through his time-lapse animation, but just enough
TA,
damage.
though. Like camera. I saw it happening, I clicked there, and it went all weird on me.
He must have seen him with a trap or something, because he actually doesn't have good vision in the area, so he must have walked over one.
I assume that was probably the case.
And no Suguchi at
Collapse
that point. Hurts.
does have vision on Ori here. He's going to ping out.
Toronto Tokyo getting a free ride here. Zipping around the river. Gets glimpsed out.
Yo, there's a lot of damage. He's not going to be able to complete the TP.
Wow. That's another big
That's a
pick
lot
off.
of damage.
Kills him pretty easy. Minus Armor traditionally actually pretty good against Void because he doesn't buy a lot of stat items. Just tries to go like raw damage and raw HP. So, yeah, very killable by the TA.
Jump
They're going in.
forward from Old 11. Good fissure from Collapse. Will slow them down a little bit. They go and they drop a sentry if Toronto Tokyo tries to go back in again. They have a haste rune, though, over here on Ori. He's just running after Mira. 2 hits, and it's enough to do the trick.
This is a tough thing right now. Like, the TA and the Spectre, TA and Spectre are both pretty farm-heavy heroes, but now they're pretty much online. Like, Blink Deso is a huge amount of damage, and just the Spectre Shadow Step with his Ag's ability is really annoying. They just need to see one of these supports, and they just go on them.
Seems to be the name of the game here. As again, Vici Gaming, they've got this advantage. They're feeling strong. They're going to continue to just wail away over on this tower with the Deso on the TA. She still has that Aegis, too. And you've got Old 11 with the Ravage waiting patiently on the high ground. Think about going forward. Finds Toronto, Tokyo, and Maposhka. The big meld strike coming out from Vici. Can Ori finish? Oh, yes, he can. He's unstoppable. There's going to be a little bit of a steal again. It's the Shikuchi. They go back in. Maposhka's taking so much damage as they're just chasing after the Ogre. They'll wipe him off the map. And the BKB now completed for TA. They are just hitting these item timings and these power spikes beautifully over on the side of Vici Gaming.
Their Team Spirit's trying to get stuff done, but they're just kind of overestimating their power here. Old 11 goes for the dive. He calls for it with the haunt. Like, how can Toronto Tokyo get out of this? He needs, like, a 4-staff and a BKB, and we're 21 minutes in. He is not underfarmed at all. He's doing great, but if they dive that hard, there's not much he can do. And that's his first death. 6-1-0 on Lina. He finally goes down, but it's hard to get into these engagements. Their initiators are basically Earthshaker off lane. They kind of need Rubik to get Sukuchi. He does have it now, but a lot of these fights look a little hard to take.
Middle tower will fall. They still have 2 towers here in the bottom for Team Spirit. Yatoro trying to push out, trying to be the one who gets any farm out of the map. It's very difficult, though. Even as a Faceless Void, he's going to be able to just teleport, realizing that they're most likely on their way, and he's going to go look for some creeps to be able to Midas. Unfortunately, it looks like a lot of these camps are very empty. So this is a passive Midas nightmare.
It's the worst thing when you get on the map like this. You're like, oh, okay, it's finally time. And then you get to the jungle and they've cleared everything on the way out. And you're like, oh, that sucks.
It's efficient. But
yeah.
oh, they were guessing. They will grab right back over onto Mira, who has the Shikuchi. They need to chase it. Oh, gosh, there's just too much damage coming out from this TA. Maposhka teleporting over to the side. It's going to be the Aegis reclaim. I don't think they really care too much. As Old 11, he's thinking about it. Does not have the Ravage, but is going to go pretty deep. That's 2 heroes now that are held in this Chronosphere. Old 11 will fall. PYW, lots of damage. Echo Slam, though, over on the side. It doesn't even seem to matter because they do have the BKB over on the TA. A lot of hits coming out. They'll take down Old 11. Collapse will fall. And they're just going to try to go for them. I think they accidentally hit the wrong button there. The rest of the team should be able to teleport away on the side of Vici.
They want the
Toronto
Spectre.
they want him so bad. LSA just barely clipping. PYW can't do a whole heck of a lot. So Poyoyo, using his dagger, will be able to go up to the high ground and escape.
Sentry was a little slow there against the TA, and he had some refraction charges while he TP'd, but they might have been able to interrupt it. Interrupt his blink dagger there. If they did, that fight would have looked a lot better. Either way, still pretty decent one. Worth the chrono on the Tide. You know, it's kind of similar to the Static Storm. It's one of the one disables that's going to work against Tide. So they get that kill, they don't have to worry about Ravage, then they can actually run down their opponents. That seems to be the key.
I'm a bit concerned though because they did use the Chronosphere and they have a very kind of scrappy team when you consider that they have this Templar Assassin, they have the Shadow stuff. And look at this, Old 11, he's just right back to business, finds himself a Poshka. They go in trying to get that step off. They'll find a kill. Old 11 though, he's taking too much. Oh no, but he's able to get time lapse right back in again. As there is just this angry TA running at Collapse. Big hits coming out. The Ravage over on the backside. Yatoro is trying to get out. Has to pop the BKB. They don't have anything to hold him into place. So it looks like he might be able to survive. But Old 11, he's thinking about diving. And you know what we say about Old 11 and those dives. That's the glimpse right back in again. Yatoro tries to hide over on the side. Too much damage. Poyoyo will kill Yatoro.
Dude, this lineup is so cool from Vici Gaming. Like, the oppressive chase that they have is incredible. They find the Rubik, glimpse him back. Like, Glimpse has felt like the MVP of this game. DY in the right position, but what a great draft to have him in the game against all of these mobile heroes. It's great against Void, it's great against Rubik, it's great against Lina. They just have to play so carefully all the time. Like, when they first saw Tide, Void didn't like run the best direction. He jumped in the trees because he's like, I do not want to get glimpsed right now, because he just didn't want vision of him. But
it's so difficult to play around.
It's really hard, yeah. And that glimpse, the Ag Scepter with the time lapse was massive for that fight.
Oh my god, yeah. I had a moment of just like, wait a minute, no.
Yeah, because they broke him, he landed the stun, and he's like, this is the moment to kill Tide, but he was ready to offset it.
Tokyo needs to be very careful. He has no mana right here. He gets Poyoyo's Courier, that is the Manta. He's just going to teleport away.
And net worth continues for the TA. Farming all over the place. Yep, Daedalus almost ready.
Couple more creeps should be able to go pick up the Demon Edge. This is a very, very scary TA with the damage that's coming out at 26 minutes.
It really is. Not a huge amount of armor over here. They've got to go Scepter on Rubik, so he's got some protection, but a lot of these guys got to be careful.
Collapse has to be so careful because he's showing up on these waves. They would love to just, yeah, look at this Old 11 immediately. Hello? Anybody home? No?
It's like my wave.
And that is the Daedalus now delivered to the Templar Assassin.
They just got to find a good initiation for Team Spirit. Hopefully Vici Gaming groups up a little bit too much. They get more heroes in Chrono than they're supposed to. Or they land a Monster Echo Slam. They've got some options here. It's just going to be hard to land them.
I mean, Collapse this time around at least does have that BKB online, but there's just so much damage coming out from the TA. It's very, very scary.
It is, yeah. He's vulnerable. He used to have an armor talent on Earthshaker. That's gone, so he doesn't have that easy survivability that might come. Instead, he's going to have to rely on it himself, and I think it's time for them to fight.
Smoke play coming out from Spirit. They're going to try to make a quick jaunt into their jungle, hoping to pick someone off, perhaps, maybe the Spectre, maybe get down a little bit of vision, but of course they place these wards right next to the sentry. Old 11 knows.
He doesn't know, because they didn't have vision on that cliff, but, oh, then he walks
No, I'm saying Old 11 does now.
Uses his little squid eyeballs.
Squid
little
eyeballs?
red
What?
fish man eyeballs. Is
All
that better?
right, yeah, I guess.
It's
I don't
fish
know.
balls. That sounds bad. Sounds wrong. That's not what I meant.
Dota After Dark, guys. But it's fine. They've spent all this time getting out of their base. It's just allowed Vici to back up and go and get themselves an Aegis. Also going to pick up that shard. It's going to go right over to that TA, the Psionic Traps, allowing them to silence. That is a nightmare.
It is.
For these heroes.
It's already so hard to get away from being chased, and now he can just, like, silence people, too.
I mean, they've got BKBs, at least on their some of their more vulnerable heroes, but it still is such a pain to have to deal with.
Team Spirit pretty desperate for a good team fight. That's why they're playing like this in the top lane. It's just not too safe for them to continue playing normal. Their opponents have stronger team fight. They've got really good pick-off. There's global mobility. It's like if they just try to play the map Spectre's going to jump on somebody, and someone else is going to follow up, and it's going to just be inefficient use of resources. They're just like hoping to get a crazy good team fight right now. And it's hard, but they know they don't have many fights left. And even though there's an Aegis on the map, they can hopefully like get them to go on Toronto like this. They don't fall for it though.
They don't. They're actually just thinking about walking. Yeah, they just walk right up into the base. The teleports are coming out. Glimpse back. Oh, that feels so bad. We've all been there. We all feel like the fool.
At least it's just the ogre.
It is just the ogre, but it's still, he's important. A little bit of a steal here. LSA connects over onto 11. But again, this TA has nothing to fear. Has an Aegis, has a BKB, dishes out the damage. They don't have the Faceless Void. They go in for the Ravage, going in right in for that. Daipoyo jumping in. Look at the melt damage. Look at the side blades. Mirror to fall. Toronto Tokyo pushed back into the base after using the BKB. These buildings clearly belong to Vici Gaming.
It looked completely fine for Team Spirit until that one meld strike hit and cleaved on both of them.
Yes.
Because then the Lena's HP went down to 40%. You can't fight at that point. It's completely over. Maybe they had some turn potential, but at that moment, no way.
Pace is broken now as Vici continued the onslaught. Collapse does have the Echo Slam if he could find the right positioning, but look at the way that Vici's playing. They're staying very spread out. They don't have the Ravage any longer. They're smoked up, trying to find the right angle. Old 11, though, he's a big tanky boy. He's just going to chase after Toronto Tokyo. Look at this minus armor. The LSA does connect. They'll get a glimpse back over onto Toronto Tokyo. They have the dust. They've got plenty of damage, and Ori is godlike as he takes down Lena. No buyback now on Toronto Tokyo. Jumps forward. Hello, Maposhka. Maposhka says, yeah, no thanks. I'm going to throw on my little Glimmer Cape and hopefully survive this. Collapse just getting itchy. It feels like he really wants to make something happen, but he can't. They don't have enough damage. Even if he lands the most beautiful Echo Slam here, Ori is just being allowed to walk all over the base. DY's Courier does fall, but again, they don't have this Void. Void is nowhere to be found. Pops the trap. Jump forward. That meld again. Godlike here. BKB getting popped. They'll turn back in again.
He's here. They're waiting for Lena to be ready to buy
Got
back.
a double damage too, but I don't know. Old 11, very, very aggressive. Nice fissure though coming out from Collapse. Does slow them down. The buyback now coming out from Lena. Still have the Aegis again on Ori.
This is a good time to fight. If they've got...
They
found Weaver.
What the? Yeah, Weaver's sitting all the way in the back. They land the LSA. UIW
no.
just going to try to Shikuchi his way out, and they are distracted here by him, but they have a Laguna with his name on it.
Okay. They bought a little time. The team fight got a little wacky there. Weaver's sitting over there to try to be really safe and protected so he could save his allies if needed, but when his teammates realize it's time to retreat, he can't follow them past the tower. He'd get caught. So at that point, it was basically disengaged. But good for Spirit that they're able to get the one kill. Gives them a little bit of space. And now they've got Manta on Void. I'm not completely sure why he went this item. Probably to give him some solutions against TA. He can dodge like a meld strike kind of a thing to save some of his armor and just increase his survivability. But
oh, what the? What? Toronto Tokyo?
is just over there, I guess. Probably.
They're going to walk right into this TA. Again, still has the Aegis for 50-something seconds. So going with the haunt, the lift up over onto Ori. But look at this damage that he's managing to output just by the cleave. BKB, all right. He's coming back up again. Old 11 is just trying to fight Yatoro over here. Focusing very low. They'll go for the Chronosphere. They'll hold Ori into place. They need to deal with this TA. And they have so much damage. Collapse goes down. They don't manage to finally finish up. Yatoro, he gets taken out. And they'll chase after the Rubik. The GG gets called. Spirit has had enough. Vici just got spanked by Ori.
They did their absolute best to try to win that one at the end, but they just got too far behind. And that's the scary thing about a Lena lineup. It's like, you can have a great game, but if you do, when you do die, it starts to feel really bad. And it is very, very possible to kill that hero and to pressure that hero. But as a whole, across the map, Vici Gaming did well in so many of their lanes. DY with the Disruptor, man, just made so many kills happen with Glimpse. Spectre got his items at a normal timing. Just everything felt good for Vici Gaming. And unfortunate for Team Spirit. They did their best. They had good picks, but just felt like their lanes and their map pressure, basically the like farm and eventually win thing, didn't really work out. We didn't see any godlike Earthshaker combos, so Yeah, Vici just plays better. That's it.
Yeah, they looked good. Again, Team Spirit, a younger group, newer to, playing on lands and whatnot, but definitely showing some promise. But Vici, it's just, they were just too good today. They definitely showed their prowess. And I think also that one play with the Weaver time lapse on Old 11,
Yeah.
that just totally turned the fight. I think they could have possibly gained a little bit of footing at that point, but
Yeah.
just wasn't in the cards. Just too good of the button pushing coming out from PYW. But that is actually it from us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. We'll have plenty more group stage for you tomorrow, but that's going to be it. So we will see you tomorrow.